Hello, welcome back to the Mr. Arsenal podcast for another match day reaction to Arsenal this weekend playing Sheffield United, winning 5-0 at home, nice and comfortable as you'd expect with your title challenger and all that malarkey. As you can see, I am joined by Spencer and Liam. Liam with his purple background in it by his TV as well. How you doing, guys? And Liam, how are you doing as well after the weekend shenanigans?
Yeah, not bad, mate. Not bad. Yeah, it was a good game. It was a good game. Nice to put a team to the sword for once.
Been a while.
It has been a while. But I know we had the Wolves last game last season, but we do it to every team last game of the season once the pressure's off. But I just think now, I'll tell you what pleased me the most on Saturday was that he rotated. And this is what I want to see a little bit more is rotation. I think rotation is key over the next month or two to get players up to scratch. And I think it's a good chance for a couple of players who played Saturday to play 2 games in a few days. Emil Smith-Rowe being one of them. And I just think like a fitter Emil Smith-Rowe. If you look at the Kawar, get him kind of fit, get a few of the others kind of more match fit, and it just offers you better options, don't it? And that it just competes for places. So, yeah, no, I was happy. I was happy to see a few players start on Saturday.
Yeah, and Liam showing the love as always in the chat. What about you, Spence? How you been this weekend? And yeah, bigger scoreline in the end.
The Arsenal win on Saturday was the big one, and then yesterday my NFL team exercised some demons and beat the Kansas City Chiefs for the first time in 16 attempts, so 8 years. So that was huge. So I'm actually on cloud 9 right now. So and they dominated in the win too. So good vibes all around today, man. I can't complain.
That's cool. Well, let's go on back to Saturday. As I was saying, as I put in the title, it was a day of firsts. Let's put it that way. First goal for Tomiyasu, first Premier League goal, I believe, for Fabio Vieira, and the first ever hat trick for our very own Eddie Nketiah, Haaland's very own. Go back to the team itself, and the teams were announced. Obviously, during the week, me and itself, Liam was saying about goalkeeping wise, you thought this would be the game Ramsdale gets brought back in and ease him back in and sort of go from there and see what happens, sort of thing. But obviously, that the team comes out. It's David Raya in goal. What was your original? What was your thoughts as soon as you saw the lineups and saw the goalkeeping situation hadn't changed at all?
My thoughts now sit at very much that Aaron Ramsdale has got a big decision to make. I think. It's a tricky one, isn't it? Because Arsenal won't want to lose him in January whatsoever. But at the same time, he's stuck in a situation now. Does he stay at Arsenal and compete at the top level? But he also needs to be going to the Euros, and he can't be afforded to be sitting on the bench. And I think I watched an interview the other week where he says, obviously, his ultimate goal is to win the World Cup with England. And I just don't see it. As I said, I don't think this has been dealt with from the start. I think it's obvious now that Ray is Arteta's number one, and I don't think that's going to change. I think potentially we're going to look to make big money on Ramsdale at some point. There's no scope, is there, at the moment that Ramsdale's going to come back in. But he'll play on Wednesday, won't he? Night, and I'm sure he'll play well Wednesday night again. He'll come back with wanting to prove something, but we'll get to Saturday at Newcastle and Rao 100% be in goal again. And I think it looks quite bleak for Ramsdale at the moment, if I'm being totally honest.
Yeah, I mean, I think I've got to agree. It's got to a point now. I said on Saturday, put a game again. I know he had nothing to do, and we got a clean sheet, but he had nothing. I said he had nothing to do. I don't think did he even face a shot in that game? I don't think he did he?
Nah, nothing.
So it's an easy get out now for Arteta to go. Well, he had a bit of a wobble. Sheffield United came along, he got a clean sheet, even though he had nothing to do. It goes back to my point I've been saying this whole time. This has all risen up in the last couple of weeks. Is when the team doesn't apply pressure, Raya looks the dog's bees basically. in terms of his distribution. He's off play from his hand or whatever. He looks the dog's beat, right? When a team puts pressure, that's when he finds a wobble. And Saturday did prove my point, but the main thing I said on Saturday was this just confirms Vaya would have to literally murder someone and be put away in jail to not be in the Arsenal 11 now. It just seems like Rams doesn't hide into nothing. He can't win because you've got this goalkeeper that the goalkeeping coach has been banging on about from day one since he was brought in with Arteta. And eventually get him. They're best mates, by the way, this goalkeeping coach and Vaya. He can't win. There's no way he can come out of this in a positive light in an Arsenal shirt going forward, because no matter what he's doing on the training pitch, the main guy is giving Arteta details is always going to big up David Vaya. So no matter what he's doing on the pitch, as long as he's getting positive feedback on the training pitch, David's going to be our goal. He's going to be our goal number one. This is Euro year as well. He wants to go to. You mentioned World Cup. He wants to go to Euros. He doesn't want to be sitting on the bench either for the Euros. He wants to be being part of the action. And I know it's hard either way. Even when he was playing, fucking Pickford was getting still picked and all that. But this has made it even harder for him. And you got Chelsea sniffing him. I don't think we'll sell Chelsea, but I think he has to say he's got a big decision to make. I know he's just become a dad as well, and I think he'll fight for the rest of the season. But come summer, if things haven't improved, if he can't get guarantees from Mikel, that's where he's going to get messy in the summer. Because he'll go. We've seen it. I mean, David Vaya took these interviews, but Ramsdale did the same thing. But he'll literally just go, not in the sense of I'm going to attack Arsenal and Arteta, but he's just going to say I need to go and get my minutes. I can't be a number two for club and country. I've said this before. He's proven over the last couple of years, he's too good to be a number two for any top club. We've been brutally honest. He's been amazing for us, and I agree with him. Arteta, we said this last week. He has handled this appallingly, and yeah, I mean, I don't like to keep going on about it, but yeah, it's frustrating to see how this is playing out. Considering that Ram hadn't done anything to justify all this in the first place this season. But look, it is what it is. And Spencer, what are your thoughts on the team and obviously this situation now? Are you on the same wavelength for us, or do you still have faith that Rams will contend this round somehow?
I mean, I think so. I had an interesting conversation with Gary last Monday on his show, and he was kind of like, "Well, it is what it is," and Raya's the guy. I'm starting to think it's. I mean, I think when I talked to you last week with Ryan about it, I was kind of like, I don't see a massive difference between the two. Like, I don't think they're both bad. I think they're both good keepers. I think Ramsdale's time is honestly probably up here. I hate to say that, but I was also thinking about it before this started, and Liam mentioned about cashing in on Ramsdale, and if you sell him, the question now becomes who's available to buy him. Well, he's probably going to stay in England, right? Unless someone abroad takes him, like a German club or something like that. But I don't know if he wants to do that. So then you come into the situation where you're selling Ramsdale to a direct competitor, direct competition that for your places in the table. So that becomes he's not going to City, not going to Liverpool, not going to United. You definitely don't want to sell him to Chelsea, but that would be nightmarish. But here's another thing to say too. And I hate to bring this up, but what loyalty does Ramsdale have to Arsenal anymore at this point? If Arteta's had no loyalty, why would he not think about going to that other place with Ange? Do you know what I mean? I hate to say that, but think about how he feels, right? Like, we love Arsenal, and Arsenal hasn't really done us wrong except disappointments on Saturdays. But he basically got benched and has been kind of frozen out. What loyalty would you expect him to have to the club? It's a sad situation. and maybe we were wishful thinking that this would be an actual competition, but it's really not. I mean, I think Arteta wanted Raya 3 years ago. There was that rumor when they moved up, they tried to, kick the tires on the Raya discussion. So, and then of course, like you said, the Brentford coach is there. So there's all these things that Ramsdale. It's just, I'm not gonna say it's. I mean, this isn't Sunday league or kids games, but I think the writing's on the wall, guys. Like, unless Raya gets an injury, like I think the writing's on the wall for Ramsdale, and I kind of hate to see it because, like I said, I think we're good with both, but I love Ramsdale, man. Like, he loves the club. He's got a lot of passion, gets the fans fired up. We have a lot of great memories with him in goal. Like, we don't make the top four without Ramsdale last year. We lose that Liverpool game. There's no question in my mind. He saved us for getting a draw in that Liverpool game. But, has he made some mistakes? Sure. Goalkeeper is one of those positions where it's unforgiving. You can turn the ball over in the midfield. You can miss a shot up top. You can sail it over the bar. But if you make a mistake, and in the way we aggressively play with the keeper, it's not traditional to what I normally like with keepers. Now, I mean, we see it. I think even like against Sevilla, we saw Raya. The ball's at the 18-yard line box. I think, if I'm not mistaken, Tomiyasu had the ball. Raya shifts away from his goal. Like, you're leaving your goal uncovered at the 18. I hate that style of play, but that's basically what Arteta wants. He wants an extra player in the field. That's what Ederson does. That's what Alisson does. But Alisson and Ederson are elite shot stoppers as well. So we have to be careful about who we move on from here because you could end up regretting it. You really could. And do remember this also. Ramsdale, I think, is 25 years old. He's not even in his prime as a keeper at all. I think for me, prime as a keeper is 28, 29, 30. Physically, you're kind of already there at 25, but mentally at 28, 29, you see the game in a different light. You have a different perspective, understanding formations, this and that. You're just young at 25. You're still a young pup, so he's going to make mistakes. But I don't know. It's kind of a sad situation, gentlemen. I don't.
Yeah, and as I say, obviously, I was going to mention the age side of things as well. Obviously, David being 28, going on 20, which does turn 28, but 29 next year now. This time next year, Ramsdale's 25. I mean, Ramsdale's got the longevity in his career compared to Raya, and he can learn. And this thing is with Ramsdale, like you say, because he hasn't hit his primary, he can still learn what Arteta wants him to do in terms of, because there's no doubt, shot stopping. One of the best out there on his day. Yes, again, anyone goes, he's made this mistake. Every goalkeeper worth their salt, even Ederson and Alisson, have made their mistakes at Liverpool, Man City, respectively, over the last few years. Once in a blue moon, honestly, but they still have, because everyone does. Everyone's human. But with Ramsdale, sorry, it was very once in a blue. It wasn't like bang, 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 bang every week, or you was on edge. You had, because of what he was, the shithousery as well. Another thing that Ramsdale brings to the table, he's home and away. He's shithousery towards the away fans, or if we're away, the home crowd, like we saw the other week against Brentford. And he just has a mentality. We saw it in the documentary as well. We first arrived us the mentality when we beat Villa 3-1. He lost his mind because he lost his mind conceding a goal, even though we had won the game because we conceded at the end. He's like, well, another game that could be 1-1, 2-1, or whatever. That could fucking change the game for us and lose us points. So his mentality is always to improve. And I think the club, Arteta, needs to manage this better. Again, we said it already. He needs to manage this better, but he also at the same time needs to allow Ramsdale a chance to show it. He's learning that he can improve and get to where he wants him to be. I was saying to you, again, just before we move on from this and go back to the game, I was saying to you last week, Spence, and the rest on the podcast, it was... what was I going to say? Got my mind now. Joys of being alive, but whilst I'm trying to think, Ramsdale does have to start again, so I'm disappointed in Arteta lying again about his own policy. That's the thing. As we mentioned this last few weeks, to be honest, Sam, that he has set himself up for a full pick out of what he said to us in the media.
The problem is, though, Could he say any different?
Let's be honest.
He couldn't come out and just say, "Yeah, I'm going to drop Ramsdale. I'm going to play Ray as my number one." Now, could he?
He may as well have at this point.
Well, yeah, he might. At this point, he may as well have, but I don't think he could throw him under the bus like that at this point. Like, he knew exactly what he was going to do. Like, I've got this theory now with Arteta. This ain't going to be the first or last player that this is going to happen to. I think we may applaud. I'm not saying we're going to applaud this situation, but we may applaud this philosophy longer term. In terms of, he's got players in that's got him to the top four, but now he's sitting there thinking, "Wait a minute, I need to compete for the title. I need to compete. I want to be at the very top." And I don't think Ramsdale's going to be the first or last player who's going to come a cropper to this. I think we might see another couple over the next season or two that we think are stable in the team, and then he goes out and buys someone totally against the grain, a bit like Raya. And believes that they're the kind of player that can kind of take us forward. I'm sorry, I just don't see now where Ramsdale fits in. What reason I say that is because Raya's only 28, 29 himself. We know goalkeepers play to their 30 late 30s. This guy's could have 7-8 years at Arsenal.
Here's the other one too. There's one other name to confirm what Liam's saying there. One name I think is the next that's going to get frozen out is Thomas Partey. Can't stay healthy.
Oh, he's gone.
I think we're seeing that now just starting because I think him getting the injury near the start of the season I think it was just for the North London derby and Man United who played first. I can't remember who it was that we played first. Either way, just like the day before something he got injured, didn't he? He was just like, I think since then he's just. You know what? He's doing what he did at 10. He phased him out.
Yeah.
Because I think we saw it against Chelsea. He's on the bench, didn't get used. We're thinking, okay, Sevilla, off we go. Suddenly he's injured. He could be out for a few weeks now.
Yeah.
So I was just thinking, and then you got media talking to Partey and Partey going, he's unhappy with the minutes he's getting. But if we're getting more minutes, if he was fucking constantly not. Injured. If he weren't injured all the time, he'd get minutes. That's the problem with him. But I said this last week with Partey. He's on the wrong side of his 30s now. He's constantly injured. So and the injuries are now becoming more prolific if these are actually injuries and not other situations dictating, so we say. They're not going to. If the injuries are genuine, these injuries are going to come more and more frequent as well. They're not going to just go away like they used to if he was like 5-6 years ago, when he's a bit more of a spring chicken, full due respect. So yeah, again, I think we've got Jorginho, we've got El Neni back now as well, and we'll probably get someone in January. If we can get someone in January, I think Partey goes in January because we just can't rely on him for so many reasons. Let's not even go into all that, but. The injuries and the situations, and you just can't rely on the guy. And we've seen with Arteta, if he feels he can't rely on you, you get phased out, and eventually you'll be moved on. We've seen it with Pepe, we've seen it with Tierney, Aubameyang. That's a different situation, but we saw how he dealt with Aubameyang there. The group ups and all that when he first came in, Mustafi, Socrates, Mesut. Seed Kolasinac got them out the door straight away because he knew he couldn't trust them. He doesn't mess about. But the thing is of this one, in terms of obviously with, as I say, go back to Aaron, he's just done nothing. Where's the others like Thomas and other players I mentioned already just now? He hasn't done anything wrong, publicly, in-house, whatsoever. This has completely took everyone off by surprise because it's just so left wing. This is an area you didn't need to address. And I know we had Matt Turner leaving and all that, and we said this last week, but you didn't have to go out and get another number one. Someone to compete with Ramsdale, yeah, but not an out-and-out number one and cause all this chaos, basically, because it could turn into chaos down the line. Let's be honest, depending on how Aaron feels as time goes on.
Do you know what I think? Do you know what I think? One of the next players are. You might laugh at me.
Go on.
Who's under risk? I think there's a couple.
Gabriel,
and I think he's been absolutely brilliant this season since he starts in. But something's not right there. Something's not right there. And it wouldn't surprise me next year if he goes out and got by someone else. And the reason why I think this right, he's definitely trying to. We see it already that he's trying to change the style of play this year. Like most of the game, we're playing with a back two at times, isn't we? Like,
yeah.
And I think like with Raya, like he sees him as more as you said, Spencer, that player who can kind of support the defense more. In certain areas and the way he's coming out of his goal and all that, and leave. But I see him kind of working with that defence, and I see that position of Gabriel's right being another position that within the next year he could be up for a fight with his position as well. And I don't think he's the only player either. Like you're right with Thomas Partey. Thomas Partey's gone. Like as far as I'm concerned, I'm bored of Thomas Partey. I'm bored of talking about Thomas Partey. Like this guy's just whatever the I don't even know if he's injured or not. If I'm being totally honest, but
that's what I was referring to before. Like, is that him being truthful, or are they just trying to protect?
Yeah,
and just go do what has got to be done and sort of thing. And things about to hit the fan there, maybe.
Yeah, even down to Martinelli.
Ooh.
Even down to Martinelli. I think if Arteta identifies someone that he thinks better than that player, I think he's ruthless. I think this guy's ultimately ruthless. Like, do you know what I mean? I think we'll see more of this. We'll see more of this. He's hell bent on being the best. He's hell bent on Arsenal being the best in the country. And I think he will do what he needs to do to get Arsenal there. And I think he'll drop whoever he needs to drop. And I think these players need to. I think these players. This is probably his way of saying to the players, it doesn't matter who you are. You could be the goalkeeper. The goalkeeper thinks his space is the safest space. There you go. It's not safe. So if any of you lot think your positions are safe, you're having a laugh. Do you know what I mean? And it is true. The goalkeeper's position is always the safest position. Do you know what I mean? Because like everyone's saying, you don't mess around with the goalkeeper. You don't mess around with the goalkeeper. He's got to be the one who's confident and all that. So he's gone out the grain, mate, and totally diminished that straight away. And I think it puts a 100% message to that rest of that team. You drop your performance, you're out.
May I, Ryan?
Yeah, go on. Yeah.
So I want to piggyback on that, Liam. I think you bring up a good point, but here's the thing: like, do you want to win trophies or do you not? And as much as I hate saying this, like, we love these players, we love what they stand for. You guys go to the games. I don't get that privilege right now, but this isn't a hangout. Like, if you want to win this league and beat the teams like City, you have to be ruthless. And this is the thing too, the progression. We call this over here in American sports bridge players, right? They get you back to a certain point, but if you want to get over that hump, you have to make decisions on some of the guys, right? The quarterback position is one of the biggest ones over here. They get these journeymen that come in and right the ship until the young guys are ready to take over. And like you said, Partey. Gabriel's one, I think that was a good shout there because, he flirted with, well, we don't know if the Saudi rumors were really true at all. We really don't know, but that it made it out. So maybe he goes and follows the money, like who knows? But a guy like Saliba, locking him back up. I mean, that's a guy I don't think will get replaced anytime soon. We've said this, I think 2 or 3 weeks ago last time, world-class player. There's no way you're going to replace him. Gabriel, could you find a better player? I think you could. But I mean, it's going to be interesting because, you sell Ramsdale to Chelsea and all these decisions, but this could go the backwards way too. You could make a change and it's the wrong way. So it's all tactical, and he has to make the right decisions. But just because you get rid of somebody doesn't mean it's going to bite you on the back end. It could happen. You could make the wrong move, and next thing you know, I don't think Ramsdale leaves in January. I don't think so, guys, because I don't think Arsenal will let him leave. Because if Raya goes down, you could have relied on Karl Hein. That's my only. I understand Ramsdale wants to play in the Euros and everything is very important. And I want him to succeed. I love Ramsdale, but I just don't think the club's going to let him leave. Partey, I could see absolutely leaving in January. I think. So
if a club threw 70 million in, just say a club come in January, threw 70 million in for Ramsdale, would you sell?
Only if there's a replacement identified as a backup, which you can do easily, right? I mean, let's not get ourselves.
Of course you can.
Yeah.
It's a risk.
It is. I think you'd have to take it because you paid 30 for him or 25. Who's the club though? That's the question. Who's the club?
Well, there's only one club that I see at the moment, yeah, right, who would go out there who have got a big issue with their goalkeeper at the moment. And let's be honest, he has got a big issue because we see it live last week, and I think they'd be more than happy to spend 70 million on Aaron Ramsdale
over a 10-year contract.
Yep. Well, whatever contract it is, do you know what I mean? But if they threw you 70 odd million plus, that's a big lot of money to take for a goalkeeper that's not playing for you. Yeah. Like whatever way you try and paint that picture, yeah, right. That is a lot of wedge for Arsenal potentially to say, do you know what? No, we don't want that. When you're only going to have one goalkeeper play at all times. And as I said, Ray is at an age where he can play for the next 6, 7, 8 years. This is just my thinking at the moment. Do you know what I mean? Like, is he thinking, do you know what? I'll get a goalkeeper to come in. He might have identified a goalkeeper before we know. Get him to come in. I'll make 70 million for him. I use that up front. I'll get Ivan Toney in.
Yeah, again until January, don't
know.
That's
another position. Jesus, can't rely on him. He's
absolutely not.
Yeah, since that knee injury.
I hate to say that, man. I love Jesus. That goal he had in Sevilla last Tuesday was excellent.
But then he'd have the opportunity against Spurs, though, won't he? And miss it.
Yeah.
That's Jesus. Jesus is a fantastic player, by the way. He is an absolute fantastic player. But as I think we spoke on the show last time, as I said, for me, I would personally get 2 forwards in, and I'd have Jesus who can play across the whole lot of the front three, because that's how good he is. But I just think that with the Ramsdale situation, I don't think we're selling January whatsoever. But if a stupid bid come in, then maybe Arsenal would consider.
Well, Chris is in the chat and he's saying he says I think he replaces Neuer at Bayern. You need a goalkeeper because Neuer is his career now.
Yeah, you could talk him into it. I mean, can you be like, hey, come over here, man?
Yeah, that might be the way to get this could be your way to get in to be number one for your country. Come to Germany for the biggest team in Germany.
Here's another thing for you, Ryan. Here's another thing for you, Ryan. Just say Ramsdale went to Chelsea, for example, yeah? Here's a question for you. It's a good one. If Ramsdale went to Chelsea, do you think that you look at them and then feel, oh, shit?
He's an upgrade on what they've got. He would bring a leadership quality to the team, but he wouldn't be he wouldn't just solve everything. There's so many issues there to be dealt with, and
it would make them better.
It does, as I say, it would make him better. He's got that leadership quality, but he doesn't solve the entire the defense, the midfield, and the attack. And that's what they're. Imagine spending again. I keep saying this every week. Spending £1 billion in your entire squad is a shambles that you can't say. This is my 11. This is my best. This is our best 11. This is our bench. Off we go.
I wouldn't be worried about selling him to them in potential. I wouldn't be worried them thinking short
term, though. Long term.
No, I don't even know about long. I think I don't know. I think Chelsea have gone down a road that they should never have gone down. Really, I think it's totally against the grain with them. And we sat there for a long time trying to blood like loads of youngsters in. It only gets you so much, don't it? Do you know what I mean? I think I'm not worried about Chelsea whatsoever. I think Saturday's result kind of proved that, didn't it? If we're being totally honest. And I think if they're not going to get Champions League football again, so they're not unless they start throwing stupid money again. The best player's not going to go there at the moment. But no. I'm not worried about selling him there. I just don't like selling to Chelsea. Period. Whatsoever. Yeah. For me, that's the factor. Just from a personal point of view, I just don't like selling to Chelsea. And it all stems back, obviously, to Ashley Cole. But I don't think he naturally makes them into a different package. He is an upgrade to Sanchez, don't get me wrong. But if you're throwing me 70 million, mate, I I seriously do have to consider it how much I love Aaron Ramsdale, because if he's not going to play, 70 million is a lot of money, isn't it? To turn down. You can't sit there and say it's a lot of money to turn down, especially when we can strengthen a position right up top.
Yes, that is true. We do need a clinical striker that we can rely upon to score the goals. Give all due respect to Jesus, as you say. Again, there's no dig at Jesus. He's a fantastic player, but since that injury in the World Cup last year, he's come back from that. He's now been injured twice now, and the start of the season it was fluid back up, and he had to get that cleared out. But now this is was it the muscular injury or whatever they didn't say exactly what muscle it was, but could be out. It was obviously out on Saturday. He's going to be out on Wednesday, and it's up in the air if he's going to be available for selection on Saturday away to Newcastle. And again, that's a big game.
Yeah.
But yeah, how old is Jesus? He's what? I don't think how old he is now. He's been around for a while, but he's a young kid still, isn't he? He's about 25 to 26, like that.
Yeah.
Say young kid.
26.
Yeah. Thought so, yeah. Because I know he's been around for a while, because obviously when Man City brought him, he was like 18, 19 when they brought him. But yeah, going back to the game now, obviously even you're there up in the north, up over the North Bank and lower tier. Was you concerned at any point when at 0-0 until Eddie scored? Was you concerned at the way the game was playing out? Because it wasn't exactly. Well, I won't say concerned in terms of Sheffield United causing any threat. I mean, in a way, we weren't just going for the juggernaut straight from the off, basically, and trying to back the goals out straight away. It took us a while to get that first.
Nah, Sheffield United are one of the worst teams that I've seen at the Emirates for a long, long time. And when I say one of the worst teams, I mean one of the worst teams. And I think I've said it probably on a previous show. Well, it might be last week, it was on the watch log. Sheffield United, Luton, and Burnley are, and you can include Bournemouth into that kind of equation, but they're probably a little bit shade better. But we're talking about 4 teams, right, that we should not even be dropping a point home and away against this year. And I'd say that for the majority of the top 4 or top 6. Do you know what I mean? They should all be beating these kinds of sides even very comfortably. And it really surprised me that Tottenham scraped to beat them. And that's not a dig at them whatsoever as it goes, by the way. But
Wow.
I know it actually ain't. I'm surprised that they even struggled to kind of beat them, because what I see from them, I know they've got a few injuries and all that, but they're nowhere near the level, mate. Like, I tell you what, if they're in the Championship this year, I don't even think they'll be in the top 8, top 10. That's how poor I think they are. And I just don't think this year, right, the quality of the teams is good whatsoever. Like, you watch Palace against Tottenham the other week. Like, I know they've got Elise and Eze out, but they look toothless. But the reality is, right, they'll finish about 12th, 13th, and I think that says it all. I think it says it all about the league at the moment. And like, we have got a great opportunity over the next few weeks with Burnley at home and Wolves at home to whack that goal difference up. And that goal, that scoring that 5th goal with Tomiyasu kept us in second place yet now after Man City's win. And we have got to go hell bent to hit the goal difference. We can't be beating teams like we beat Bournemouth 3-2. Like, we need, if we're going to compete for the title, we have to have a goal difference. Do you know what I mean? And this, it's worth enough a point, obviously, having that goal difference.
In the league, we've got that's league fixtures I'm going by now by phone. And obviously, Newcastle away on Saturday. Then we've got Burnley at home, Brentford away, Wolves at home, Luton away, Villa away, your favourite fixture, Liam, and Brighton at home. And then obviously 23rd away to Liverpool. So the majority of them games are winnable games.
Yeah, they're all winnable. They're not just winnable. They're like, you can get we've got to be ruthless. We've got to be ruthless. There's going to be the odd game when you are going to go 1-0 down in a game that you don't expect to. Do you know what I mean? And we've proven we can do that. But I don't know about you, Spencer, but I just think that the teams are really poor this year. I look at the Premier League. I think there's only about 4 or 5 teams that we want to watch at the moment.
Yeah, I mean, Sheffield United, I wasn't worried at all on Saturday. And I was working, so I was trying to watch it as I was working, and I got to see a pretty good portion of the game. But they just didn't look threatening. They didn't look I mean, and that's where I don't want to take away from Eddie, because I've seen people on Twitter do it. I mean, Eddie's hat trick was beautiful. I mean, that third goal.
That third goal.
I mean, that's even the first goal. Rice, the pass to him, like, come on. So I don't want to take anything away from him, but I mean, that's kind of like, hey, the confidence build on that Eddie's going to get from that, right? And I mean, and that's pivoting to that. I mean, it's kind of that was the big thing that stuck out to me. But Sheffield United, I mean, I know people made jokes about Luton points. I mean, it'd be shocked. I'd be shocked to see Sheffield and Luton get close to that derby, 11 points, man. Like, I mean, they're really bad. Like, and like you said, the top three that came up, like, I was really surprised. Like, I was really buying into what Burnley did with Vincent Kompany and everything, but they're so open. They open themselves up for counterattack goals. Like, their play almost like Leeds did, just kind of like wide open. And, the Sean Dyche type, low block would be nice, just kind of like set yourself up for success. But no, it's like you said, they're probably all three going to go down. Yeah, but they're hard to watch, man. They really are, unless your team's playing them.
Yeah, I sort of have to agree on this point of the league. It's so important. I mean, we saw it yesterday. It's the Manchester derby. We know Man City are Man City, but this is I watched that game and I'm thinking, obviously, so Bobby, the first league game since all that. You think especially like the players have been there for a while now, be up for it, like really want to fight and show some passion at least. It was just, but Man City just pushed them off the park and was like, who are you basically? Puny human sort of peasant, and that's Man United. I mean, what was it the other week against Newcastle, going to Sheffield United and actually pumping them 8-0. And I watched that game. It was on in the background, and every time Newcastle scored from the third goal onwards, they didn't even celebrate. It was like, yeah, we've scored. Let's get the ball back and go again. Chelsea. All week we've had them going, oh, what a great point for us! We're back. They lose to Brentford. And again, I watched that game, and I'm like, if that had been 0-0, I think that would have been a fair result, because Brentford weren't out of the race, to be fair to them. They've even said, Thomas Frank even said himself, they weren't at their best. But Chelsea is just a poor side. I mean, we said going on about it, but that's just a poor side. And Everton, I mean, West Ham losing to Everton yesterday, again, it just shows how poor this league is, because this is the Everton side that we're all thinking that could be the one that, if one of the three that do come up somehow survive, Everton will be the one that suffers the consequence, basically, you'd think. Points deduction or not. But then obviously they go to West Ham yesterday and get a win. It's so poor. Being these teams go to Man City, won't even try. They won't even try to say, "Oh, it's Man City. Okay, you have 3 points today, Man City. Off you go." We'll take, because you're Man City, we'll take the defeat and we'll just focus on the teams around us. And that does my head in as well. But yeah, the league is fucking woeful in terms of quality, and we've got, in terms of the teams we should be beating, we have to, home and away, beat them. No mercy, none of this BS or we've got European football or cup football, this, that, and the other beforehand. And then the teams like Newcastle, Liverpool, and City, and you want to throw them not down the road. They're the ones where you want to. If you're going to drop points, they're the ones that are more acceptable, apart from Tottenham, obviously, but they're more acceptable because of the quality of the teams they are. But anyone else, we should be getting 3 points home and away against them all, because as I say, it's so poor. The quality is so poor. But we'll take it as it comes, especially in January now. As I say, all the fixtures being moved around in December. Sorry, the festive period now. Going to be interesting how all the teams adapt to that and go a bit. Colonel saying as well, Liam needs to do Movember. I can imagine you, Tash.
Be like Ian Rush.
Yep. End of the month, we'll beat up at the Emirates, the Lons game. and you'll be there with big bushy fucking tash. Oh dear. But going back to the game, obviously, yeah, we got as you mentioned before, the goal there, Declan's assist for the first goal. Again, got to say from Freddie's perspective, get the touch off and get and just follow the ball. Don't just let the ball bounce off him and leave it. He took the touch and ran and left the defender in his wake. Bang, 1-0. And you could see the relief within the players that we got the goal, we can go now. And you knew from that point we were going to win this. There's no way. Because of how Sheffield United set up, I said what they're going to do. They did do it in terms of come for the point, but then they didn't. There was no reaction. And we just plugged away, got to half time, and the second half, what was it, 5 minutes into the second half, 2-0. I don't know why it was checked, but it was checked for a foul or something on the goalkeeper. And then Eddie's third goal. I mean, you're behind that goalie, and what was your reaction when he lets loose outside the box?
I couldn't believe it. I'll probably turn away thinking, Eddie's on the ball. All jokes aside, it was an unbelievable strike, wasn't it? Straight in the we weren't the top corner, was it? But he had so much venom behind it. Do you know what, right? Eddie Nketiah is probably ideal for these games in terms of these teams like Burnley, Luton, Sheffield United, because I think at times, they're the kind of teams, right? He's going to get a lot of kind of success in the box as well, like what you see on Saturday. Where the bigger teams, it's harder, isn't it? But as I've said, I've always thought Eddie Nketiah is a bit of a homer in terms of he scores a lot of goals at home. But I need to sit away from. I'm sorry, I need to sit away from home, and until I sit away from home,
Luton, Sheffield United away, Burnley away.
No, I wouldn't trust it away from home. Still, I don't know why. I don't. I want to see him do it. I really want to see him go away from home and hit a period of games where he scores.
Yeah, I think they'll be. I think I'm saying them three themselves will be the away games where he needs to target and say, "This is where I need to sort my away form out and prove myself, basically, and build my confidence up from there."
But I think Jesus is just unbelievable player to take away from home, isn't he?
If
Jesus is a fit for any game away from home, Jesus probably would start up front at the moment for me. But I think these home games, mate, definitely get him in there, Eddie Nketiah. He's hungry. He wants to score goals. So why not try it? I think he needs to start tomorrow night against West Ham.
I think he will.
And he needs to score. He needs to score.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, obviously, I said on Saturday night in the group chat that we're in the watching match of the day, and I obviously doing interviews and all that. And I didn't know this until he said it, but yeah, apparently Eddie Nketiah dedicated his hat trick to his late aunt. Now he's just lost in the last few weeks, so obviously condolences and all that to him and his family and all that. But shows what he's been going through and all that. Not just him as well. Tommy Asser as well lost his mum in the last year, so it shows that what the players are going through, and it would explain in Tommy Asser as well why his form went, because obviously he was grieving his mum. But yeah, it was class, obviously, to see that Eddie, after his hat trick, when Fabio won the penalty, that he said, "You know what? I could have been part of history and joined Henry and Arshavin for the only players to score 4 goals for Arsenal in a game. But Fabio won the penalty. He's got a baby on the way, who I believe she's had the baby now. So congratulations to Fabio and his wife. Going by his Instagram post. But yeah, so basically he wanted to do the right thing and let him have his moment with the fans again. And again, Fabio's coming on and he's proven to be a good impact sub, even against a team like Sheffield. I know Sheffield United, but even against on Saturday, comes on and makes an impact. Even when we're coasting, we don't need to do anything. He does something, and I sat here, watched it like on the screen here, and I was like, I'm screaming. Basically, I'm not impressed. I'm like, how's the ref missed that? That's a foul. Surely you could tell it's a foul. Where I was. What about yourself, Liam? Because you're in blockade.
Blatant foul, blatant. Like I knew even after it carried on that was getting pulled back on VAR for a penalty. It was that blatant that foul. There was no doubt.
You couldn't ask it. And I know he's one of the new ones that have been brought through this year, but That's just basics. I mean, the way Fabio's gone down, he's staying down. He ain't even like he's like on the plate. We've got the ball back and we're getting back up. He stayed down, holding his ankle. He was in agony. And when he saw the replay, he's like, he literally got caught the back of his back of his Achilles. So, but yeah, again, VAR did do the right thing, and it did come to the right conclusion. But it's just a pain in the ass. Like, really, did you have to go through all that just to go to the right conclusion when it's so obvious? But there's a comment here I did say from earlier from Brownie. It says, I remember me asking Arsenal fans would they take Declan Rice at Arsenal, and they all, including me and Sam in the chat, that Declan wasn't Arsenal standard at the time. Brownie, though, this is the thing. At the time, he wasn't standard. He has improved since we last spoke. I'm running out week in, week out. I'm running out of things to say about the guy. He's been that good. Oh dear, but yeah. So again, yeah, Spencer, what was your thoughts on the Eddie Tattrick and the Fabio penalty as well, and obviously Tommy Aster as well?
It's part of the repetitions that's required for this team to push on, right? So that's why, like I said, I got in a mood on Saturday with Twitter because I was just watching people like dogging Sheffield United as if they were like trying to take away from Eddie's accomplishment, which I was just like, man, just enjoy the win. My God, like I don't care who you play against, right? You won 5-0. This don't happen every day. The competition did suck, but you took care of business. You won 5-0. You didn't win 8-0. Just enjoy it. Some people just can't seem to enjoy the good things in life. So with Eddie, man, like props to him. He's available. I hope I've had my comments about Eddie, and I don't think he's a top level striker, but I hope I'm proven wrong, man. Like I hope he plays Wednesday, scores a couple, and goes up to Newcastle on Saturday and scores 1 for us or 2 for us. I want to be proven wrong about Eddie, man. How awesome would it be if Eddie pops on and next thing you know, he's a 15 to 20 goal striker for us? I mean, I know it's probably definitely not going to happen, but we would kill for that, right? I mean, let's be honest. Like, he's already here. We didn't have to pay for him. We want him to succeed. And to piggyback on the Vieira thing, Vieira scored his second goal for Arsenal. There was fans last year that were cussing Vieira playing. I mean, I got a text from a guy. He's a YouTuber. I'll leave his name alone. He sent me a message at the MLS All-Star game. Why is Vieira playing? And I messaged back, like, because he can play multiple positions. Arteta likes him because he can play the 8 position. He can play the wing. It takes time, man. He was in the Portuguese league. It's a softer league. Now he's in a more physical league. He's kicked on and played well. And I'm going to go mention a name, and Ryan will cut me off if he wants to on this one. I know he will, but Havertz, give it some time, man. Like, he's coming from Chelsea. Let's see how he does in our system in like 6 months from now. And let's just be patient, man. Enjoy the wins. Be patient. Lokonga, that didn't work out. We know Lokonga's going to be leaving the club probably in the summer, right? So,
yeah.
Vieira found a way to work out. It's good. And Tommy Asu, man, like, he's played excellent the last 2 games. I thought he was last Tuesday night. I thought he was the right selection given the competition against Sevilla. Played well again on Saturday. Just the people that I think needed that lift up got the goals on Saturday, right? The ones that needed, like, for the narrative. But yeah, it was good to see. Odegaard. I was kind of glad he didn't start. Not that I think he's been poor or anything, but it was good to get Smith Rowe out there to get a start in the game, right? Like, get him back in the rotation because he is a 10. He can play the wing, but he is a 10. He can play the 8. I was excited for it, man. I'm glad they picked up the 3 points. I'm interested to see what the rotation is going to be Wednesday night. I think we'll definitely see Ramsdale in goal, but will we see more of the same we saw Saturday? I think it's a possibility. But I want us to win this competition, the Carabao Cup, man. I think we need to win it, establish that winning culture. Go get yourself a trophy, get these guys hungry. It's all about motivation, right? And if you slag off a competition and don't care about it, There's only 4 trophies available. Go get this one.
Yeah.
No, yeah, exactly. And obviously, since I put that comment about Declan as well, literally Granny's popped back in and a little debate going back and forth. I mean, he's saying it was £50 million cheaper. Yeah, but it wasn't worth what the time when just after we got Partey, he wasn't worth that at the time. Was what we're trying. He would if we'd gotten him for that, he would not have improved us at that time. We've let him do his thing at West Ham. We know the Chelsea situation. We jumped in it at the best time. I think if we'd gone for him back then, we wouldn't have got him because we weren't where we are now. Part of the reason why we've got him this time now was because of the improvement Arteta has shown the world that he's done with Arsenal. And they took us to a level where we're starting to compete again. And he wants to be part of a competitive team and win league titles. He said it himself in it before us. Before coming to us, sorry. So again, it's all about timing. And again, about this thing about Odegaard. You didn't tell us about Odegaard. Sam told us about Odegaard. Let's not even go to that one. Talking of Odegaard, he's out on the bench on Saturday, and then Arteta saying he's injured. Do you believe he's injured, or do you think it's just a bit of a respite, just allow him to recover? Maybe we might see him on Wednesday for a cameo, and then fully again back on Saturday. Sorry, I keep forgetting the days. Liam, sorry.
Sorry, was we on about Partey?
No, Odegaard. In terms of obviously he was out on the bench.
Yeah,
Didn't play. He's injured. Apparently, he had a bit of a knock. Do you think we might see him in a cameo on Wednesday and then fully fledged on the weekend?
I think we'll only see him if we need to see him tomorrow. I don't think there's any point risking Odegaard tomorrow night because Newcastle's massive Saturday, in my opinion. Do you know what I mean? I think if Arteta can get away with playing 11 players tomorrow night, that's what he'll do. I just don't see the point of. I keep saying tomorrow night, it's Wednesday night. Sorry, I just don't see the point of risking players. As well, obviously, I want to win the League Cup. Do you know what? I really want to win the League Cup because I haven't seen us win it since 1993, and some of you guys probably haven't even seen it. Do you know what I mean? And it's
I was four.
Exactly. It's a strange one because obviously it's probably the easiest tournament to win out of the lot, but we've had our opportunities to win it, but haven't seen it through. So I really do want us to do it because I think this year's a prime year with Man City already out, and we know Spurs are playing well, but they're already out as well. That for me, the only team I'd worry about in the semi-finals if it got to a two-legged affair would be Liverpool. But I still think we'll come out. I still think would come out the right side of it this time around. But no, I wouldn't. I'd only bring Odegaard on if I needed him tomorrow. I think there's no point risking him, and I think he's obviously had a few little niggles. I think there's definitely something going on in the background in terms of these niggles, and I think this is the prime time for Arteta to just give him a week out of it. I think the other one is, will he take Declan Rice? Will he put him on the bench on Wednesday? I think it'd be very hard for him not to take him back to West Ham.
Yeah.
The Odegaard on the bench, Rice on the bench, like the 5 guys you would. So if you thought about the rotation of who you would rotate, their positions would be my subs in theory in case you need to keep pushing on, right? You don't want to rotate too much, but the Rice one, how do you go tell Declan Rice, hey, we're going back to West Ham, you're not going to feature?
Can't, can you?
It would just kill him, I would think, right? The Odegaard one, I expect him to play because I the more I think about it, I think he got the rest on Saturday, and he's going to be needed for Saturday against Newcastle. But I think he probably ends up being a sub. But hopefully the rotation guys you bring in, maybe you'll see the same squad. Maybe you see Smith Rowe, Havertz, potentially Jorginho or Rice, whoever. And maybe you see the same squad from Saturday and they take care of the business for you in the first, 30, 40 minutes, and you don't need to wear those. You can bring academy kids in to finish the game out, right? Like Sago and maybe a Roll Walters, get him a shot. Like you never know. So hopefully they take care of business in the first half and we don't have to see our starters play because of Saturday. I mean, Saturday's going to be a huge game up there in Newcastle. So
I would like to see him play a youngster again, like he did against Brentford. I would like Rolls-Walters would be the one for me. I'd like to see him play, even if he went to right back and Tommy played left back. I think Gabriel will start on Wednesday, and I think it's just interesting because him and Core both left-footed in it, but I think we could see them both start Wednesday.
Yeah, it's going to be critical to get the lineup right, I think. And then you also don't know what West Ham's going to put out there too, right? Like they've got Europe, so they have another trophy they're probably chasing. And I think the next round of European games is the following week, if I'm not mistaken. Correct?
Yeah.
It's going to be very interesting. I am interested to see what the lineup is for this week. But I'm with Liam, and like I said earlier myself, and I'd love to win this competition. It's just Pep puts us on. Man City always wins this competition because it just gets those guys hungry to go out there and strive for excellence. So.
Whilst we've been live, by the way, the Ballon d'Or top 3 has been announced. We have our winner. Would you like to know?
No, it's Messi. It has to be.
Yeah. Messi number 1, Haaland number 2, Mbappe number 3.
Yeah, well, I think the World Cup decided that, didn't it? If we're being totally honest.
Yeah. I've been saying it ever since he won it. He's going to win. He'll be given it based on the fact he won last year's World Cup with his country for the first time in X amount of years for the country and all that. And the fact that he's gone, obviously, this will be his last opportunity because in terms of winning the Ballon d'Or for the next couple of years now until the next World Cup potentially if it goes on that long, because he's obviously down in MLS as well. So we will see a different winner next time round, hopefully. Touch wood.
Do you guys think that was the right choice, though, Messi? Do you think that's the right choice for the Ballon d'Or?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean,
I think so. I think Haaland's a goal machine, but I look at Haaland when you cut out the supply like we did, and then he's pretty ineffective, isn't he?
Yeah, whereas Messi can find pockets and just tear us apart, basically.
At his age, at that World Cup, man, he was doing what he was doing. I think he was signed, sealed, and delivered at that point. I think it would have been very hard to take it away from him at that point. Like for me, Lionel Messi. I'm a Messi man, like all day long over Ronaldo. But Haaland scores 50 goals. That's a lot of goals, isn't it?
Yeah.
A lot of goals scored, not get the Ballon d'Or.
It's a lot of goals not to get the Ballon d'Or.
The only issue I have with the Messi thing is the MLS portion of it. That's what taints my view.
I think because it's more recent, that's why I say I think this will be his last one for the next few years because he's down in MLS. He won't be recognised.
I mean, don't get me wrong, and I'm not knocking my own country's football. I'm not. But when you give a guy a portion of your media rights deal, it calls into question the legitimacy of the refereeing and everything. Because you guys imagine, we're going to bring Mbappe to the Premier League. He's going to get 6% of the revenue from the Premier League. People would have a riot. There's no way. But in MLS in America, we just let them do whatever. So, but sorry, I just wanted to get y'all's opinion on that. So.
Yeah, I get your point. And was it Apple? Has he got rights to Apple TV as well?
Yeah, you get some of the Adidas sales, Apple sales.
Ridiculous, isn't it?
I mean, it's just hard. It's hard to take the league seriously when you give a player part. Like it's like putting betting sponsors on shirts, right? Like it's entertainment, right? Like what are we doing here? So sorry.
Oh dear,
brilliant.
Look, it is what it is. You know what?
He's laughing, isn't he?
Of course he isn't. In one sense, you can't blame him. Like he is what it is. I'd rather him go to the MLS in his career now than go to Saudi Arabia. At least he's got something about him to say, you know what? I'm not going to be part of the sheep and go bah bah bah. I'm actually going to do my own thing.
And it was unbelievable when he scored that free kick, wasn't it? Like in
his debut,
Miami on his debut. Was it his debut? Oh mate, it was unbelievable, wasn't it? And I just think that's the player he is, mate. You know what I mean? Like, I think the PSG was obviously a funny one, weren't it? Really, like I'm not naturally that he did the right thing there. If I'm being totally honest.
Yeah, I think it's more like a protest towards Barcelona and the whole situation there.
Yeah, like I would have liked to see him come over here. If I'm being totally honest, I would have loved to see him for a year or two. Yeah. Like, could you imagine him in that Man City team?
Oh, don't. Please don't say it.
He would like with Kevin De Bruyne.
They would have won the Champions League well beforehand. Then, if that's the case.
Yeah, I think that would have been like a much better move for him if I'm being totally honest than PSG.
Yeah.
Because the problem with PSG was he got all the egos, weren't it? Neymar, Mbappe, and him.
They clashed, and yeah.
Yeah, but he's an unbelievable player.
Yeah.
He should have signed for Leeds.
Yeah, sort of signed for Leeds. Yeah.
He signed for Leeds.
Messi's too scared to go to. Yeah, all right. You know what? If Messi had gone to the Championship, bloody hell! I want to know what Leeds have done basically to get that over the line.
Giving him ownership.
Pretty much, yeah, of the league. Oh dear. But yeah, going back to what you were saying about Kai, Spence, as well. I mean, I've got no problem with Kai. I mean, I've been saying all summer, like, give him time. And for the last few weeks, Liam has been saying since the Community Shield that his best position that when we do play him in is most effective is up top. So I know it's Sheffield United, but I was a bit disappointed that he was put back in the midfield pivot, knowing that's probably his weakest position. We can put him in this system. But against Sheffield United, he didn't have much to worry about, really, with all due respect. He got his foot on the ball, did a bit of this, bit of that, had a couple of chances near the end. Done a job, basically. I can't complain. But other fans do need to get this this agenda out of their heads and actually give Kai the opportunity. Because if it isn't for him, we don't win against City. If he doesn't come on and do that, give that assist, if he's not there, we don't get that goal. So
don't get that other goal.
He does have his strengths, his attributes, and like Liam said straight from the off, his best position is up top. My brother said it to me, and there's on at the Community Shield as well. Like, he's more effective up top. He can get in amongst it and stick it to the opposition in defence and stretch them and things like that, and physically kills them a bit of tiredness, I would say, as the game goes on.
I think
they're gone. Sorry.
No, I was just thinking. I think like when we were talking about earlier on the way what Arteta wants to play moving forward. I think once he gets that to the way he wants it, I think you'll see a different Kai Havertz.
Yeah,
like, I think he'll pretty much be the second striker.
Yeah, and I'm all for that because I think that's where we're getting the best out of him in this system, and he seems to be more happier playing in this system in that position as well. And I said this all summer as well before he'd even kicked a competitive ball anyway, like Community Shield and all that onwards. This ain't Chelsea. We don't play a way that neglects his abilities. We play to his strengths. Our team, our ethos of our club and history, and the way Arteta says it wants his team to play is to play to his. He loves that sort of style of play. We saw it at Bayer Leverkusen all them years ago. We've seen it in bit part with Germany as well. So I didn't. Don't get me wrong. I was a bit taken aback when I first heard of it, but when I sat back and thought about it, I thought it does make sense because he can do a job for us. He will fit into the way we play. Whereas Chelsea, money aside, it just didn't make sense because they don't play to his strengths. We knew that even before he signed for them. They don't play attacking, free-flowing football like he likes to play, and that showed through his majority of his. Even then, he scored a Champions League winning goal, and they still don't respect him. So fuck him. That's just give this fan base. They claim to hate Chelsea that much, yet we've just bought a player. We brought a player in that's scored the goal to win a Champions League recently from our rival in Chelsea. Instead of sticking it to him and going, we're going to do the complete opposite, and we're going to actually publicly support the guy. Back him to the hill. We've got idiots in this fan base going, "No, we've got an agenda. We're going to constantly call him out no matter what." Like, fuck off. Give the guy a break. He's a confidence player as well. You can tell he's a confidence player. I think everyone at the time had a go about giving a penalty to him, but I think that's since then he's starting to grow game by game. He is getting better. You just, as I say, you need to give him time. Bergkamp needed 8-9 games he needed. Henry the same. Some players need time to adjust, even if they're coming from one club to the other in the same league. They do need time to adjust to new systems, to ways, so to say. But look, it is what it is, and I don't think we'll see Kai on Wednesday, but I do think we will definitely see him on one way or the other on Saturday. But I think he'll get a full night off on Wednesday just because.
Do you?
I do just because it's away to Newcastle. It's a toughie. He'll want some of his players rested and fully fit.
So he'd be one I'll be playing. He would be one I'll be playing on Wednesday night. Like,
I'm just thinking about what Arteta's going to do.
I don't know. I think he might play, mate. Honestly, like, I would even consider playing him up top on Wednesday night. Personally, I would play him. I'd play him. The more games he gets here, the more minutes he gets, the better he's going to become. Do you know what I mean? I don't see the point of resting him whatsoever. I get the point of resting Rice. I get the point of resting Odegaard. I get the point of resting players like Jesus and all that. But Kai Havertz, do I get the point of resting him? Absolutely not. Like, I'd be playing. Well, the more minutes he gets, the more games we're going to play him into form, and he might get a big moment on Wednesday. Do you know what I mean? You never know, do you?
Good for the winner, yeah.
And if he does, mate,
yeah, go on.
That's the biggest confidence boost you can get, isn't it? Scoring the winner.
Yeah, in a cup in London derby as well. Yeah, I'm just trying to think what Arteta's going to do. You can't second guess Arteta now. He's slowly turning into what Pep does. Like, you can't guess his teams anymore.
No, you can't. I'd consider playing him up top on Wednesday night if he knows Jesus is not going to be fit for Saturday, mate. And I'd rest Nketiah and play Havertz up front.
Yeah,
and you'd have Trossard and Nelson.
So I mean, I'll say this much about Kai, and I think ever since the penalty, we've seen more confidence and teeth from him. I mean, look at the way he played against City. He passes the ball to Saka in that Chelsea game that gets the ball to Trossard. He sets that play up. I think he's played better. I mean, I just wonder, like, for me, and I like, what does he have to do to make fans happy? Does he have to score 50 goals? Like, does he have to cure one person of cancer by by the 90 minutes and stuff? Like, and I say that in jest, no disrespect to that stuff, but like, what's the goal? Like, what is the baseline for him? Like, what's the expectation? Like, because there's expectation for certain players, and expectations for others, but I don't think we're making excuses for Kai, because I don't think he's done anything to hurt us either. I think he's been excellent. He's reliable. He's able to play. And I mean, I think he brings a lot to us defensively. I think he's solid in the midfield, but I'd love to. I love your point there, Liam. Like, I'd play him up top on Wednesday, and let's see what you got, man.
Yeah,
go for it. And I think like you said, he's probably eventually gonna. You pay $65 million for him. Like, I know Arteta said he brought him in as a midfielder, but your opinion changes, right? And let's go back to this comment earlier about Ryan Ramsdale. They brought him in for the competition. Well, how do we know that? How Arteta told you he's bringing Havertz in for midfield, but he changed his mind. Maybe he told you one thing and something completely different. So, it's kind of like with Eddie, right? The goalposts move with these players when they do good things to our fan base. Just give them their credit. It doesn't mean you have to go out and buy a shirt with their name on the back of them, but give them credit and support them, right? That's just my 2 cents on that. It just the Kai hate just makes me infuriated. So
I think the timber injury killed quite a lot of what Arteta really naturally wanted to do, and in that first game of the season. And I think, like, as I said, I think there's going to be a total different kind of setup in terms of shape of defence when we start evolving over the next couple of years. But as I said, I don't see Kai Havertz as being that guy who's going to be totally up top. But what I do see is that guy who probably would break in from deep positions as a second striker. And I think this season he's got to be given as much opportunity as he possibly can to kind of get game time, but also have moments where it's going to evolve him. And as I said, I think Wednesday is a big game for him, and I'd be putting him in that team all day long Wednesday, because I just think he needs minutes, and I think the more minutes he gets, the more opportunities we've got of getting him to win fans over. And I think the last point I was going to make as well is Saturday. I don't think he naturally starts Saturday anyway, if I'm being totally honest.
Yeah. Havertz would be a bench player for me on Saturday for certain. I think some of the success in his roles has been coming off the bench, right? that it's kind of like Trossard, the super sub, right? And I know he's not scoring the goals like Trossard, but Trossard has this ability to come on in the 60th minute, 65 minutes, and just kick it on. And Havertz seems to come in the Man City game, the Chelsea game, and just kick it on. And those are his top 6 opponents. One on the road, one you haven't beaten since 2015, I believe. So, I mean, 100%, he would be a bench player for me on Saturday. 100%.
Yeah, no, I fully agree. You don't start whatsoever on Saturday. Not there. Right.
Yeah.
We have really, really, really got to do what we did against them back in the last season, and shut the crowd up as soon as we possibly can.
Yeah.
It's going to be coming set up that back line. Just so if you want to go through the lineup, I don't know if I'm jumping, Ryan, but you got Rye out there, of course. Ryan's still Rye argument, but make sure Saliba's ready, make sure Gabriel's ready, White, Tamiyasu, right? We want to be a little stronger on that defensive on that back line. Declan Rice has to be on the team sheet. Odegaard, maybe Jorginho, right? Or make sure you set up strong, do a double pivot in the beginning. Saka, Martinelli, and Nketiah. You got to go the strongest 11 up there, man. St. James's Park is just going to get harder to play at as the years go on, with the money backing they have with the Saudis. Like, it's just, yeah, it's going to become one of those scary places to go to.
Oh, sorry, that's literally what I was talking about. I've just realized, because obviously, as you mentioned before, Champions League next week, and they've got to travel away to Dortmund, and obviously now because they lost last time out at home to Dortmund, they're going to have to go down and win now, really, to keep it in their hand. Ooh, so even their team selection could be a bit mixed match as well.
They got Man United Wednesday as well, didn't they? Or is it Tuesday or Wednesday? They got United. It must be Wednesday. They got United.
Wednesday. They got United Wednesday. Got us in the Dortmund. Ooh. That could play into our hands, actually, thinking about it. If we play our hand right and all that malarkey. Ooh. I agree.
I agree with it's kind of. I think we'll get the 3 points there. I think we'll be set up well. I think if you look at Newcastle at the moment, they've got quite a few injuries as well, haven't they? They've got a number of injuries. They've had the incident with the Italian lad now, which is obviously got to be grating a little bit at the club. And I just look at our 1 to 11. Like, you look at Newcastle's 1 to 11. Yeah, they have the passion there, but naturally, if you was looking at our number 1 to 11 to their 1 to 11, from a realistic point of view, we are a much superior team in most positions. And I just think, like, as long as we turn up and don't do what we did against Chelsea, we make sure the first 15 minutes we shut them up and just hit them on the counter attack. I think we'll beat them. I think we do exactly the same job again. I think I agree with you, Ryan. I think they need to beat Dortmund at Dortmund. They know now they have to win at either Dortmund or Paris Saint-Germain. And as sooner they get the win, it'll be better for them. So I think their eyes will be on the Dortmund game on next week.
I agree with that. I'm not. Like I said, I think we'll take all 3 points too, even with the lineup I mentioned. And for me, it comes down to Rice being available, man. Like, I mean, we went up there and Saliba wasn't available, right? And we still got 3 points last year. You have to feel more confident when you see Rice and Saliba on the team sheet.
I'd say so.
I mean, and it's not cockiness. It's just Declan Rice.
What we're seeing, basically.
I mean, just to have that rock, those two guys up there, like you said, first 15 minutes, you're going to take some. I think it's you guys are okay. So I'm 4 hours behind you guys now. So I think that's the 4:30 kick for you guys. So that's 5:30. So that's
5:30 UK. Yeah.
Is that the latest game on Saturday?
Yeah, it should be.
Okay, so I mean that's that primetime game for you guys as far as I guess TV and everything. Like, so it's going to be a big atmosphere. It's not like a 12:30 kick on a Saturday morning where everybody's trying to wake up, right? So it's gonna be raucous. I think the Tonali one is the one I think that hurts them the most, right? And you're missing that. Yeah. I mean, we just remember how passionate their fan base were last year at that game, and how we weathered the storm, got the 2-0 win. There's more confidence in the fan base now, but again, the players know the task at hand, and St. James Park's not going to be easy. So Like it's like BX said. I think Isak's out. I think Botman's out. So there's opportunities to be had.
I think like you said, Saliba. Like you said, Saliba, mate. Saliba on Saturday, mate. He was playing at 60%, mate. And that geezer weren't getting around him. We'll love all money, mate. We could have played one centre back. We could have played Saliba back on his own on Saturday, right? And he would have governed the whole lot, mate. That's how I knew after 2 minutes that we weren't conceding a goal because you could just tell a superiority. But like you said, last year we didn't have a William Saliba to turn up there. We didn't have a Declan Rice to turn up there. I'm even debating: did Gabriel Jesus turn up there?
I believe he was playing that game.
Was he playing that game?
I can find out. Let me have a look. Let me find out for you.
Be interested, but Saliba and Declan Rice, like we're going to be talking about them for years to come. Like I don't even want to bore people because everyone knows what they are to us. But William Saliba in that team just is just a different level to anything else, and that's why we can go away from home and do what we do away from home because you got him there. I mean, you got him and Gabriel with that partnership. I just think it's going to be too strong for Newcastle on Saturday, and I think as long as we don't, I think that Chelsea performance probably come at the right time for us because it probably give them the kick up the arse now to get. And I'm sure Arteta would have ripped them in the changing rooms after because he wouldn't have been happy with that 2-2 draw or whatever happened. But I think there'd be a lot more focus at Newcastle.
So, yeah, our team lineup for when we played them last season was Ramsdale in goal, Ben White at right back, Jakub Kiwa, Gabriel and Zinchenko, Granit Xhaka, Jorginho, Odegaard. Yet again, no Partey, noticed that. Saka, Jesus and Martinelli. That was our 11.
We could do it. Jesus be ideal for Saturday, wouldn't he?
Yeah.
Absolute ideal. Like, I think the Seville game was if you said where'd you rather go, Newcastle or Seville? Newcastle.
Yeah. I mean, I completely blanked out until literally about 5 minutes ago. I was like, oh, yeah, they've got to go Dortmund, haven't they? And they've got to win now because I was like, yeah. And of the injuries to Isaac, and again, they drew at the weekend as well to Wolves, who are actually doing well this season so far. They drew to Wolves. Again, once Wolves got that equaliser to 2-2, Newcastle didn't they were holding on a bit there near the end. So it's going to be interesting. And yeah, you can remind us all day long, Brownie, if we win trophies, the league titles, Champions Leagues, FA Cups, League Cups, knock yourself out. I don't care. We've got him now. That's what matters.
Hey, Ryan, the subs on that day were Tierney. Tierney came on for Zinchenko. Partey came on for Odegaard. Nketiah for Jesus. Trossard for Martinelli. And Reece Nelson for Saka. So.
Oh, okay. Okay, that's cool.
Yeah. I remember being on edge that whole game, but
yeah, it was a very tense game, wasn't it?
It was.
It was, and then we got. I think for me, the second Odegaard scored that first goal. I thought that because of where we were at the time, form-wise, I thought, okay, we've got this done. Just concentrate. Don't let it slip and all that. And yeah, we controlled the game. Didn't give a sniff really, if I remember rightly, compared to the previous season. And then obviously Martinelli, with his little nugget in the second half, sealed the game for us. And again, it's just a more professional performance compared to the previous year. And when you find out afterwards by Ramsdale that Arteta had used a clip from the All or Nothing documentary when we went after we played Newcastle the previous season, they used it to motivate them. So we know what Mikel's all about, and then there's a motivation. So probably find another nugget to sort of kick him at the backside because we don't want to be dropping points this weekend. I know Man City got Bournemouth, so they're playing before us on Saturday as well, the 3 o'clock. So that's probably a guaranteed win for them. Let's have a look at fixture. Sorry.
I don't think we'll be above them on Saturday. Whatever happens, I think they'll smash about 5-6 goals past Bournemouth.
you'd expect. Anyway, it's Man City at home, so you'd expect it. Yeah. As I said earlier, bend over fucking Bournemouth Day. What's the name? Saturday, and yeah, Chelsea play. Yeah, Spurs play Chelsea on a Monday, so that's gonna be interesting. So we may be. Hopefully, we do turn up and we do get the result. Be it a win. Hopefully, come this time next week, we'll be the only unbeaten league team in the league left. If Chelsea can turn up and do a job for once, I doubt it, but you never know.
We've got some interesting away games, haven't we? In terms of the next couple of games, like it's take up Brentford game on the 25th, but Aston Villa away on the 3rd of December, I think it is, or something like that. No, the 9th or 10th. Yeah. That's a massive game as well with them in form. Like I was looking at that yesterday. Like they're well up for getting that 5th spot in there at the moment.
They haven't. The thing is, since we beat them last season, they haven't lost at home.
They've battered teams as well. They've battered teams as well. They haven't just beat teams; they battered teams. Yeah. That's a hard game, mate. That's a hard game. That game, and that's going to be hard for anyone who goes there. Man City, Spurs. Do you know what I mean? Liverpool. It's going to be a hard game for anyone to go there.
We struggled ever since they've come back up in the league there too. Or not struggled. We've won, but we've had to play some tough games. Remember the game of COVID? They beat us
1-0, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think Jack's last year, maybe 2-1. Yeah. But I do want to bring this up to you, Ryan, and I heard an interesting statistic, and this is something for the fan base to kind of like go, wow. Arsenal have their best start in 16 years. So that's really an interesting. I didn't know that. So, 6 wins and 3 draws, or 2 draws, or 3 draws. So best start.
And we haven't played that well, apparently.
I mean, if there's another gear there, right? Like, stand by. Hopefully there is another gear.
I think the team have matured this season in terms of whereas last again we weren't expected to do start of last season we weren't expected. We can all say we weren't expecting to do what we did in terms of go for a title and all that. They went gun ho. They showed they flexed their muscles and went gun ho pretty much all season. And the energy went at the wrong time for us. I think this year it looks like we're conserving our energy. So taking it game by game, get the result, don't lose. It's to get a result, get in, get out, and we're looking to do what Man City have done over the years and go. Okay, we're in January, February time. Let's push on now. I think if we can get to January time, like early February, I think that's when we're going to. If we are still in the mix for the title, I mean that's when we push on. We show what we showed at the start of last season in terms of the attacking flair, the free flowing football, how you meant to end the season basically. You're in this situation. But yeah, Isaac versus Jesus, Gary's saying, can't go wrong with either. Jesus gives us experience that we need, and Arteta likes what he likes, right? Yeah, he does give us experience, and he just needs to get these injuries out of his system. Otherwise, we're going to see another Thomas Partey situation, so he's saying, with the injury side of things, and phased out.
Yeah.
Looks like Neto's links are done with. I think that's like his second injury now in this year alone. Doesn't bode well for him.
Get me Ivan as well. Get me Ivan Toney.
Yeah, Ivan Toney. Give me Ivan.
We don't need a winger at the moment. Right. That's just like, for me, it's one of those luxury purchases, getting a winger in the club. Like, we need a striker.
Yeah,
Jesus can play on the right. Yeah. Jesus can play on the right if needed.
Yeah. Well, he did against City. You did a good. I don't know about you guys, but I think you did a good job against City. Jesus down on the right hand side, especially in the second half.
Yeah.
Need another Odegaard blast. I hope he's feeling better in time for the match. I think it's just more of a protect. I think that the injury is just more of a excuse to rest him without throwing him under the bus. Pardon me. with the media and certain parts of our fan base being idiots, so we say, when it comes to Odegaard. But I think he'll be fine. And yeah, he does like to score. He does like to score against them, home and away. So I don't. This would be a good game for him to come back and go, hi guys, bang, 20, 25 yards like he did last year, and lead by example again, as he always does most of the time.
He's got himself.
I'm hoping that Chelsea gets a spell something in it. Oh, well, no, go on, yeah, go on now, yeah. Let's catch up with the chat.
Interrupt. I don't know, talking about Odegaard. Odegaard has got himself in some great positions for some shots. They're just not falling. You know, he's just missing some over the bar, and it's just he's in good positions. It's just not clicking right now. But when it starts to click, stand by. So
yeah.
Sorry about that, Ron.
Yeah. Yeah, that's fine. That's cool. That's all right.
That's why I think we need the squad to get minutes, because it breeds competition. Do you know what I mean? And I agree with what Gary says there about the squad and the bench is getting good minutes now, which I think is such a key attribute. Do you know what I mean? Like, I'm hoping with these Champions League games, like, I think we're quite in a lucky situation with the home games we got, because I think he's going to be able to play Smith Rowe in quite a few of the Premier League home games like Burnley if he wants to. I think we'll see Odegaard get rested a little bit over the next few weeks. And do you know what? I'm all for that, because last year we just played. And you get to April and they're all knackered out. This rotate it. This give these guys. And Vieira's another one, isn't he? He'll get another opportunity soon, I reckon.
Yeah. Reece Nelson will get opportunities as well as time goes on as well, especially come late November, December time when the fixtures come thick and fast. I think that's when we're going to see more of Reece Nelson getting rotated in and out of the squad against the likes of Luton and things like that. In terms of Champions League, because of the way the games have been playing out so far for us in this pool stage so far, if we win next week, depending on what happens between Lons and Eindhoven, if Lons win that game, we're through with 2 games to spare, basically. We'd have 9 points out of 12. In Eindhoven and Sevilla would only have 2 points, so they can't catch us then. So we're basically through with 2 games to spare. So we can even rotate the last 2 Champions League games as well if the next week goes our way. Touch wood. But yeah, I mean, I love seeing Smith Rowe. Second half, I think it took him a while in that game, but second half, I think we start seeing more of the Smith Rowe again we loved beforehand, and it's going to take time, but I can't wait to see him at 40 fit, match fit, ready to go, raring to go. You can see that Fabio Vieira doing fantastic when he comes on, or even when he plays. And I think, as I say, Liam, I think we're going to see a lot of rotation going forward, and I'm all for it because, like you say, last year it was pretty much the starting 11, and it weren't rotated. Like, we knew our 11, but the rest of our squad weren't to the strength of what we could have been for the first half of the season, at least anyway, until we brought Trossard and Jorginho in and all that. In Nketiah, sorry. But in general, we didn't have a strong enough backup, basically, in our benches and all that to fall back on. But this time around, because obviously with fitness and all that, touch wood, we are having that luck at the moment. And I think let's use it while we can, because obviously you never know when it could go against us with injury and training and things like that. So use this while we can. And if it benefits us in the long run, come April, May, we're literally in the hunt for that title. It gets us over that line because our entire squad is fit enough to get over the line this time. I'm all for it. I mean, what's the point of having this depth if we're not going to use it?
Yeah, I think he sees 4 players as these untouchables. Do you know what I mean? I think Saliba, if he fits, he plays. I think Declan Rice, if he fits, he plays. Do you know what I mean? I think Saka
as well.
Obviously, if he's fit, he plays. I'm sorry, maybe that's 3 players. Yeah, I think Martinelli's probably is the other one, to be fair, because I just don't think like we see Arsenal without Saka and Martinelli, and we're like, yeah, they have their quiet games. I thought Saka had another quiet game Saturday, but you know what? I like it when they have a quiet games at times because then you see what others can do. And with Saka had a quiet game, we won 5-0. I'm all for that. I'm all for that. Do you know what I mean?
By the way, I'll ask you, Liam, did Saka get an assist? Because I didn't think he got an assist, but the FPL is saying he got an assist, so I'm confused.
Did he get it for the?
He did.
Who got the assist for the second goal for Nketiah?
I don't know. It might have been.
Come from a corner.
Did he take the corner?
He took the corner,
didn't it? Yeah.
He took the corner. So that would have been where the assist was.
Might go from that then because I can't remember.
Because El Nini got the assist for the fifth goal, didn't he?
If that's the case, he broke the record then, of Ian Wright's record then. Or was it the last English player to consecutive, or was it 6-7 games of either scoring or assisting in games, basically?
I'm not sure.
His last English player that did that.
I didn't think it was his assist. I thought he'd come off someone.
I want to go as well.
I can't really remember it, to be fair. All I know is he comes in and he whacked it in.
I said, I wanted to ask. Obviously, Sky Sports app said no, but then nothing's been made a big deal out of it either. And also, but I'm saying all that, but the FPL is giving him points for an assist. And I'm like, have I missed something here? Because I know he went off before the last 2 goals. So, and Fabio Vieira won the penalty, so there's no assist in that goal either. And Tomiyasu, he was off. Like I say, Saka was already off by then.
There's no way that Nketiah second goal was a Saka assist. Too much happened.
I need to watch it again. I might have to watch it again and have another look.
Yeah.
But yeah, looking on to Wednesday now. How are you feeling going into that? I know it's a Carabao Cup and all that malarkey. As I say, Man City are out. Them not down the road, they're out. Man United will be out because I swear to God, if Man United get through, fantastic for us. As long as we do our job and get through ourselves, that's fantastic for us. Because they're just crap. Yeah, how do you feel? Do you see this? Do you see us winning it in 90 minutes, or do you think this goes to penalties? Because it's literally that, but it's either 90 minutes or pens.
No, I think we'll win it in 90 minutes. I think we'll win on Wednesday. I think we'll win Wednesday. I think we take 5,000 fans up, don't we? I think we'll create a quality atmosphere. I think it will be a proper London kind of cup derby. But I just think at the moment that we got momentum. I think we got players that want to prove themselves. I think West Ham at the moment are pretty, even though they're comfortable in terms of the league positioning at the moment. I think that was a big moment, though. Yeah, I think that was a big defeat for them yesterday, and
3 or 4 defeats in a row now. It is now.
Yeah,
3 or 4 games they've lost in a row.
I'm not really brought that. I think Dave Moyes personally should have left after the Euro final. I just think at some point he's going to put himself on a hiding to nothing where he could have just said, "You know what, job done." I know a few West Ham fans, and they're not totally happy that with the way the management, and I don't even think they're really happy last year. But he obviously got them through, didn't he, and won the cup for them. Yeah, I just think that if we play anywhere near our capability, that we'll be too strong for West Ham. And yeah, I think I'm going to go. Do you know what I'm going to go for? I'm going to go for 3-1.
Oh, going big, are we? Ooh.
Yeah, I think it'll be a tight game. I'm not saying it's going to be a 3-1, like in terms of like we're going to spank them 3-1. Yeah, I think it'd be one of them games where it'd be in the melting pot for a while. But I think once we get the second goal and they've got to come at us, then I think we just pick them off, and that's why I think we'll end up winning by 2 goals in the end. I think I'll be disappointed if we got knocked out this tournament on Wednesday night, because I think this is a really good opportunity to go the full way.
Go for it, yeah. Get that first trophy under. In terms of this actual squad, get their first trophy as a squad under the belt, basically early on. And then maybe that gives us confidence going forward first of the season. Touchwood, hopefully. Yeah. And again, our record in the League Cup, whatever we fucking call it these days, it isn't the best. It's probably the worst out of all the big clubs. We've got the worst record in this competition for winning it. As you say, won it 93. The last time we won it, we've been in the final 2006-7 season and 2011. and Wenger's last final, wasn't it, as well? They had a 3-0 in the that was so we've been in 3 finals, and we lost everything. Oh, don't. Okay, let's move on from that. But we do need to move. We do need to improve. This is a trophy I do want to win. I haven't seen us. I haven't seen us lift this trophy since I was 4 years old, and I'm now 30 years later. So come on, please, Arsenal, sort yourselves out. Yeah, Spencer, what about yourself? How are you feeling about Wednesday going with the result in general? What do you think the score will be?
I'm going for a 2-0. I feel pretty confident about the game. It's a cup competition, so anything can happen. So, I mean, I think there's enough rotation. There's enough depth in this squad that we can go for this cup and win it. And especially and not to forecast in the future, but like you guys had mentioned earlier, who's left in the competition? Like, if you get a League One side next or a Championship side next, you just never know what you'll get. I mean, the two legs are once the two legs happen, and I still think they do the home and away, right, for the in the semifinals.
Yeah, semifinals coming away. Yeah,
January, February is kind of a dead period anyway for the most part, especially January. Like, go for it, man. Like, I see 2-0 tomorrow. The goal scores, I'm not going to predict that, but I definitely think you definitely got to go strong. I mean, not like the strongest 11, but mimic what you had Saturday, and I think you'll be fine. If you want to swap in Jorginho for Rice, I can live with that. But it's going to be hard to tell Declan, hey, you can't play at West Ham after you've missed it. So that's I'm very confident about tomorrow or Wednesday.
Yeah. I'll give you one, mate. Havertz will score on Wednesday night. I'm going to put it out there.
That'll be a
BX Gunner will be chewing on that one. I'm going to assure you that much. I'm going to put a Havertz goal Wednesday night.
Anytime score. Anytime score.
Anytime score. Definitely. I've got a feeling. Yeah, I've got his feeling. Wednesday night he's going to score.
I think, but again, we've mentioned this earlier, Liam. I don't think that's a crazy shout because I've seen like his confidence. It just seemed like it's built since that penalty. And look, man, I know BX loves Havertz. He loves him some Havertz. So
yeah, deep down, he's forming a little dungeon where he lives and basically building a shrine of Kai.
He got a doll with a Kai Havertz jersey. And he's poking it with it. He's like, show me on this ball where Kai Havertz hurts you. We love you, BX.
Oh, dear.
I think the other person as well we're missing, we haven't mentioned about Wednesday night, and we probably spoke about is Trossard. Like, he'll play Wednesday night, won't he?
Yeah, I think so. I think he'll start.
And he's actually in quite good form in terms of he scored a few goals for Belgium, didn't he? And he scored for us the other week at Chelsea. So he's
it's got the bit between his teeth because this will be a game from where you can go, I'm starting. I want to give Arteta a headache ahead of Newcastle on Saturday. And obviously Sevilla the following week as well because you want to start that game of Champions League at home. So yeah, again, that's what you want. We want. This is what we wanted all along. We wanted competition. We didn't want just a great 11. We wanted competition throughout our team, and with Trossard, he gives that. Again, this is a guy who barely starts, but he's finished. He is. We keep saying it every week, every time we talk about Trossard. Arguably our best finisher in the entire squad. Like he's so good. And the fact we got him for the price we got him for, I mean, in the January window, I know circumstances sort of helped us there, but I take him over Modric. Over the Modric deal, I think we ended up having the better deal in the end. As much as it might pain a few Arsenal fans still over that situation with Modric, but we for a lot less. We've got a Premier League proven player who knows where to put the ball, basically. And he gives us something different on that left. When he does play, he can play again anywhere across the front three, false 9, right, or the left, and he'll do a job 9 times out of 10. And he turns up again. You mentioned Chelsea. He turns up in the big moments when we need him most. He'll make the runs off the ball to make sure he gets on that ball. Or like we saw in the Community Shield, He'll turn a defender, open up the play, have the shot, and see what happens. And he can take a mean penalty as well. I think my 11 for Wednesday will be obviously Ramsdale, but we know Ramsdale will be in goal for that. This Carbo Cup. So Ramsdale in goal. This is going to be an interesting one. I don't know. I think that's. Do we go? I don't know. Do we go full strength straight from the off against this a lot? I know it's London Derby and all that. I'd probably put Tomiyasu right back, Ben White, Gabriel centre back, because obviously Gabriel's had a day off anyway. So in terms of the week just gone, get him in there. Sleeper on the bench just in case. And left back, either Kiwa or Zinchenko. I'll probably lean towards Kiwa to give him some minutes to keep his fitness up and keep him just there just in case. Midfield, Jorginho, Declan, and Odegaard, and then Trossard, Havertz, and then Reece on the right hand side. Just again, give certain players minutes, keep them ticking over, just to make sure they are there when we need them later on down the line. That's a good point actually. Just mentioning, but we didn't. If we got Mudryk, we probably wouldn't have had the money for Declan in the summer. So that's a good point actually.
And just think about how many people cussed Edu and the club for not getting Mudryk. We can pull up the YouTube videos. No one deletes their stuff. Not you guys, but other certain death merchants, shall I say, that were upset about just spend the money. And Mudryk's been kind of a failure for them. So Crawford was value for money.
Yeah,
I was thinking, like, he's unfortunate, Trossard, isn't he? Like, I was just thinking, like, if you put him in that Barcelona team at the moment, mate, he'd be brilliant in that team, wouldn't he? Like, he would be absolutely brilliant in that team. And I was just thinking about if he was in the Man. I know, obviously, just say Haaland weren't there yet, right? If you put him in that Man City team, like, he'd be absolutely brilliant there, wouldn't he? Like, I just feel at times that he hasn't been lucky. Sometimes you've got to make your own luck, do you know what I mean? But I think the Fulham game really kind of damaged him a little bit at home because he had a really, really poor first half. I just think that he's got so much ability that he could be a great player in his team. He could be an absolute great player. But I don't think we're ever really going to see him play from the start, if I'm being totally honest with the way we're going. But there's that little bit, that guilty pleasure in me that I would love to see him play up top a little bit after a few games, see what he could offer. Because like you guys said, he's the best finisher in the club.
Yeah, it's the vision he has around the box, his ability to get open. Like, it's some of the stuff that, when you watch a game, you especially the front line guys, you watch when Ben White does an overlap or whatever, when Saka passes off to him, you want to see who's making that run, who's making the movement, who sees it. And Trossard's the one that sees all that stuff, and he just gets in that right spot. I love me some Trossard, man. He's excellent. Great bit of business. But like I said, if we'd have gotten Mudryk, I mean, maybe he works out with Arsenal. I don't know. Like, you just never know, right? But we don't get Declan Rice, and I think Declan Rice is more important to us winning a title than Mudryk would have been any day of the week. We didn't have issues scoring goals last year. We lost the title based on our defensive form fell off this for 3 or 4 games, right? And then we just kept conceding goals, and that's where we lost it last year. We scored, I think, 89 goals last year, a club record for the Premier League. So,
yeah.
Can I just get that right, Roy? You say you think Declan Rice is going to start on Wednesday?
I reckon so, yeah. But for the first hour or so, yeah, he'll get, because it's West Ham, and it's at their stadium, just so he gets these moment with the West Ham fans to say goodbye properly.
I think it's going to be an interesting one.
Do you think he gets booed?
Yeah, by part of the fan base, too. I think
by part, yeah.
I'd say though, if you look at the reality of it all, I reckon it'd only be about 20%. I think 80% appreciate what he's done, but you get the mugs like West Ham Central, don't you? Like, he ain't going to be at the game anyway, probably. But You get. He's probably influenced a lot of fans, though, isn't he? And I was on a train home the other night, and there was one West Ham fan who said he really liked him. The other, his mate was like, can't stand him because he's gone to Arsenal. And I was like, I kind of get it a little. I kind of get it a little bit. I do kind of get it a little bit because we were the same with Ashley Cole, but it was a totally different situation. But then I'm like, I think West Ham think the rivalry of Arsenal is bigger than what it actually is. Let's be honest, like West Ham ain't really a rival to us. Yeah. We don't look at West Ham like a rival. They look at us more of a rival than we look at them as a rival. And I think that the West Ham fan thought that Declan Rice would go to Manchester City, and I think it's obviously rubbed a bit of salt in their wounds that he stayed in London and went to a London club.
Yeah, there's definitely some hurt with that for sure, and there hasn't been enough time for it to heal for the West Ham fans either. To be honest, like it's obviously like there's a little bit more tribalism and rivalry with the European football side than it would be in American sports, so it's a little different, obviously. But I mean, it's like the Red Sox and the Yankees. They used to do that all the time. Guy played for the Yankees for years and go play for the Red Sox, and they hate each other, and it goes back to the 1800s. But there hasn't been enough time to heal. I was just curious because it would be interesting to see how his reaction, because he obviously is going to want to play. But man, I mean, I couldn't imagine putting on a uniform for a team for years, right, and then coming out getting booed. He left him with a trophy, a European trophy at that too. It's like
I don't think he will get booed, mate. I think there'll be a little majority that might try and do it, but I think the hardcore West Ham fan will realise what he actually delivered them last year and what his last moments were at the football club. And I think they probably do appreciate that deep down. I think they're just a little bit naff that he went to another London club, but I don't think he'll get it whatsoever on Wednesday. I think, as I said, it'll be a little proportion, if anything.
Sorry, I was popping around on Twitter and I was just seeing this. How did you react? This is the anniversary today itself. Is the anniversary of when we played Reading? 10 or so years. I mean, how many years ago it was now? In the Carabao Cup, and it was this that happened. How would you react? How many years was it? 11 years later, that happened on Wednesday.
I mean, a bloody good game to watch. I'll tell you that much. I don't think I want to watch the team 4-0 down again, though.
No.
I remember, I remember the next morning, I was sitting in McDonald's, right, at 7 o'clock in the morning, just looking at my newspaper still in disbelief, thinking, did I really watch that game of football last night? It was just unbelievable, wasn't it? Like, even to the point, we went 5-4 up, and then they scored, and then we scored in the 120th minute. Scored 2 goals in the 120th minute, didn't we?
Yeah. And look at
the amount of shots. 53 shots over both teams.
Yeah, 13 on target for us, 9 on target for them.
A lot of yellow cards.
Yeah, a lot of size. 6 yellow cards to us, 2 to them, 14 fouls, 18 fouls, no reds, 35% possession, 65% possession.
Shamak's last goals were Arsenal, wasn't it?
I think it was as well, yeah. This is when we sort of phased him out, basically, yeah.
He's famous, weren't he? That's it, game over.
Yeah, it's like, I fucking had enough of this. Just fucking deal with this. Get it done. It's done. Bang, 5 for fuck's sake.
Unreal game of football that night was brilliant.
But again, I was just going to say now, this will not happen on Wednesday. Our defence isn't, our reserve defence isn't this bad anymore. That's what.
I do agree with BX going on that last comment. I do believe if Roman had left, I think they would have gone and got Rice. I do agree with that.
There was heavily linked. He was heavily linked under Roman's era, and in the end there, every year they were. For me, that was where I thought he was going all the time. For me, that was where I thought he'd end up with his mate Mount. But obviously he ain't doing too well, is he, over at Man United? But at present, we won't talk about United though. We could do for a bit, but we'll be here for another 2 hours.
Yeah, I don't know where you go. I don't know where you go with Man United at the moment. I just think that the whole club's riddled from top to bottom at the moment.
Need them to win a little bit more so this insanity can maintain, right? Think they're back and then they do it again. Like, you don't want a complete failure. You want the the Ten Hag show to just stay. So Glazers in, baby.
It's just an interesting one, isn't it? That you listen to kind of like they've had their managers, didn't they? They brought managers in. No one's been able to turn it kind of around and all that. And I heard someone say today that they want Unai Emery in. Like, did you see? Like, no offense, like I know Aston Villa were a different situation, but there was no pressure really for Emery. He couldn't do any worse than what Steven Gerrard did, and there were some good players there. But why would Emery take that job on? He already took Arsenal on, and he knows he ain't going to get burnt like that again. Like, Emery would not turn Man United around whatsoever. Like, I actually don't know who turns them around. I don't think there's anyone at the moment who can turn them around.
I don't think there is anyone, but I was also going to say, in terms of United, I think that when Emery took over Arsenal, I think we're in that time we were in a better position than what United are in now.
Yeah,
it'd be even worse for him if he went there and tried to do it now.
Yeah, I just don't think
it's suicide. I think he's happy. I think he's happy at Villa as well. So I don't see why he would.
Well, I think they're going to get Champions League football. I think they'll finish fifth.
For United, I think United's best hope they got rid of Ten Hag is Steve Bruce.
Must bring Mark Hughes in, might you?
Get the old team back together. Did it, Volley?
Big Sam in. Give Big Sam a shot at it. He says he can do it at a big club. Let's prove it.
Who's that?
Big Sam.
I tell you what, he'll take the blows though, won't he? But honestly, anyone who is there, I just don't see who takes that job on at the moment.
So the problem is sorry, go ahead, Ron.
I was going to say, we sit here and we think, well, since Ferguson retired, I've had David Moyes, Louis van Gaal, Jose Mourinho, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. Then it was like Ralph Hasenhüttl on a temporary basis, and now we're on to manager number 7 with Ten Hag. And it's to say, I know Man United's a big club, and the name itself is a big pull. But what managers out there right now that's an improvement on Ten Hag that's available that would want to go that would, even if they're not available, would want to leave their current job?
No, Carrick ain't turning that around, mate. Honestly, I don't see who turns that job around. Like I said to my mate, to be fair, he's the most modest Man United fan you ever might like to talk to. And I said to him last year, I remember I was talking at the start of last year, and I said, you basically need to have a total new rebuild. Like, you need to stop buying these old players, yeah, right? Stop going out and spending 80 million on the Casemiros, do you know what I mean? The Varans and all that, because, like, naturally it's not working, do you know what I mean? It's not working. You need to basically do what we did and basically swallow your pride and take some shitty, like, 8, 9 finishes, but bring up a good youth lot, young players to try and fit the model for a few years' time. But you look at the team now, right? They've not really got any youngsters in the team whatsoever. You look at Rashford, the geezers. I like Rashford. I think Rashford would be a great. I think if you put Rashford under Arteta, I think you'd see an absolute different player. But I think the problem is now at Man United, they're all stained. They're all under pressure. They don't. I think they're demoralised. They don't know where the club's going. The ownership's an absolute joke. You can't play football like that. You can't be consistent and have all that pressure as players. And I just think, like, I don't know who takes that job on. I'll keep saying it. I just don't know who takes it on. I don't know what players you bring in at the moment there, because I think, at least with us, we had a group of youngsters coming through. I look at them and I think, what have you actually really got coming through the system as well? You haven't got many players that are coming through.
That's what saved us.
Sorry, go on.
That's what saved us, those young players, Saka, the Smith Rose, buying a good buy on Martinelli at $5 million, right? Like, that's what saved Arsenal through that rebuild, is we had those young guys, and that made it attractive for players to want to come. And you look at Man United, and it's crazy because I go back to that game they played in New York. I didn't go to it, but I remember Gary and the little upset that we had lost to them. And I was like, that's great. We can win this. They can win the friendly in New York, but they need to win it with the Premier League when we play them. And we obviously won that game. But you just look at it because every year the same suspects talk about Chelsea, like Rory Jennings. Oh, Chelsea's going to be back, and then the guys that pushed up the Man United stuff, and we won 2 trophies, or I think they won like the Carabao Cup last year. But like, there's no like, you don't see them kicking on and actually competing. Did anybody really believe they had a chance to beat Man City on Sunday? No, I mean you really didn't, right? Like, the Man City plays Newcastle. Newcastle has a shot. You believe that, right? But Man United, like, there's just Sancho can't get in the team. Bruno's just a penalty merchant. I'll say it again, and I don't care if anybody attacks me for it. I mean, Harry Maguire is not. Harry Maguire is a center back that plays. He would be perfect at Burnley. Set him back in a low block, and he heads stuff out of the way. But if you need to play him up top at the 50, he's not your guy because you can outpace him. So I love it. The fact that like I said, I don't want to ever see him get relegated because I like seeing our rivals up here and everything. But man, like, I mean, I got nervous when they said a Qatari was looking at him. Like, that scares me a little bit because that's unlimited funds, right? But unless you get rid of the dead wood and the culture, like, you have to shift out some of the dead wood. You're never going to fix anything. Arsenal went through that rebuild, Liam, and I'm basically repeating everything you said, but you were spot on. The rebuild that we went through, and we just in the fan, and thank God. And this is the thing. Look, the fan base wanted Arteta gone for a while, right?
Yeah.
But the Cronkies are like, nope, we know what we're doing. They rebuilt the Avalanche, they rebuilt the Nuggets, and we haven't got our title yet, but we're reaping the benefits of patience. And I think that's the thing that football is lacking nowadays. If you don't win a game on Saturday, the world is melting down. Like, hold on now. Like, you need to understand where you are and where you are on the pecking order. And Man United, they're 5th or 6th at best, right? So, we'll see. I mean, I don't know who would want that job. I bet Big Sam would take it. And I take that in jest as a joke as well, but he would absolutely take that Man United job. Would he succeed? No, but he would take it.
Here's the thing, right, mate. Here's the thing, you say about Man United, right? If they get a Qatar manager, or owner in, right. But the way I look at it now, right. Every year that Man United stay in its demise, we're just gonna get stronger and stronger, and they're just gonna sit on that either level or just get worse and worse. And it's even Newcastle. I'm not even worried about Newcastle. Like, when Newcastle's the owners took over, everyone was like, "Oh, that's gonna totally kill us. That's gonna stop us getting top 4." I don't even worry about them anymore. And it's weird because I just think that our projects obviously go nowhere near to being the explosion that it could be. And we got the players that we've got with the ability they've got and the age that they've got, that I just sit there and I think, like give us another 2-3 years, and then we'll be peaking. We'll be peaking, and these clubs are going to have to go a long, long way to catch up with us. Like, we are naturally, in my opinion, at the moment. I look at us, Man City, I still put Liverpool on that radar. You can't just dismiss them. But I also look at Liverpool and think they're aging. Do you know what I mean? They're aging in a lot of areas where I think, give it another year or two, they're going to have to go for a rebuild. So I think they'll fall off a little bit. But I just look at us and I just think, like, we're at least now with Man United 3-4 seasons ahead of them, if not more. Like, the rebuild they've got to do is incredible. And there's a couple of youth players in there, but do they naturally play? Do they actually really trust them to play? No.
As I was going to say, but what was it? There's one lad that plays at Luton now. There's meant to be a big talent for him and all that. And he never got a game. They sold him to Luton. I've watched him at Luton, and because he's obviously the standard is different. So it's just like, yeah. What was it? The lad that scored every week, Hannibal. Don't see much of him. Once in a blue moon. It is what it is, and after years of being in that situation ourselves and having them point and laugh at us and call us the banter club and ridicule us, I want this to continue for as long as possible. I want them to get a taste of their own medicine there. That you add into the equation, we grown up the rivalry and all that, but they pointed and laughed, and they thought they were above being in this situation, and now they're getting a taste of it, and they don't like it. I don't care. I'm enjoying it. I know Stefan does. Obviously, he hasn't been inside, but he loves it because he gets these kicks from them having their little meltdowns and all that. But I think, again, they've got so much to say. It's not just a managerial thing. The second manager, the new one comes in and everything gets fixed there. There's so much needs to be doing. And as I say, even with this new setup they're doing up to upstairs, it ain't going to change. So, I'm just,
It's even gone beyond the point, is it, that you can recruit within, like you get an ex-player there. It's even gone beyond that point, isn't it? Like,
yeah.
If we're being honest, they might have just kept Ole Gunnar Solskjaer in charge. If we're being totally honest, yeah. But I don't actually mind Ten Hag as a manager. I think there is a really good manager in there. I just think that he's dying. He's dying in the club, and I think he needs to be put out of his misery soon. If I'm being totally honest, I think he's interviewed the other day. He said about tactics. You can see he's dying.
Yeah, I think any other club had a better setup and he had a better support system behind him.
I think he'd be a good manager, top manager.
He would cook. He would absolutely cook. I know people disregard Eder Venezia, but there's no coincidence that since he's left, Ajax have fallen off. They fell off last season. They've put the bottom of the league as we speak with like 3 points in 8 games for them. And again, you can add into the equation obviously Mark Overmars and the Edwin van der Sar. Obviously, he's had to step away now because of his health as well. But when they hired Ten Hag, I thought, he's a great manager and all. But any other club, it was like with Conte when Conte went to Tottenham. Yeah, he's a good manager. He's a great manager and all that. He can win trophies, but at Tottenham, because they ain't got the right setup behind him, I weren't worried. I knew, give it 18 months, he'd be gone, and nothing would have changed. And with Ten Hag, good manager, got the potential to kick on now, but picked the wrong club.
He'd be better waiting for Newcastle.
Yeah,
that would have been the right club for him. A club where, do you know what I mean? They're rising, they're buying youngsters, they want to do it that way.
Yeah, and they've got a structure in place.
Yeah, that would have been the club for him. It could still potentially be the club for him. Like, you don't know what happens in football longer term, do you? But
yeah, I think you'd have to step away from Man United, do a job elsewhere, either go back to Ajax and rejuvenate them or something in the meantime. And when the moment comes for him at Newcastle, take it.
Do you know what he's done? That he reminds me of Emre a bit, and this is where I think he's lost the plot. The captaincy.
Yeah,
the captaincy. For me, Emre died under the captaincy of Arsenal massively. Like, it was absolutely, and he's done the same thing. Like, I agree with Roy Keane last night. Bruno should never be made captain of me. I could not believe it when I heard Bruno was the captain of that club. You look at that club, right, and you sit there and you think the last person, not the last person, but one of the last players that I would sit there and go, yeah, he should be captain Man United is Bruno Fernandes.
100%.
No, again, I said this last night. You mentioned this last night in the group chat on Twitter, or X, we call it nowadays. It's more damning that he's captain. I mean, the way they stripped the captaincy off Maguire publicly, the way they did in the summer, was poor. How it was handled, anyway, and that was more of a we don't want you, Harry, piss off. Hoping that would be the final kick in the teeth to piss off and all that. That never worked. But isn't it more damning that they're giving the armband? This is a guy that had the armband last year, in all but name, and was criticised in the big moments. Even as captain, was criticised last year. And you've then stripped the club captain of the captaincy in summer and given the armband to the guy that got criticised and missing the big moments. But they haven't got anyone. This is what I was saying last night. In that Man United squad, there's no one you can say in that squad is a captain who is a leader. It just goes back again. We've been here, DM and Spencer, and then the Arsenal fans in the chat are listening back to this on the audio side of things. We've been here in a situation where we've had squads, and the armband have just thrown around to keep players at the club for a bit longer, or just for the sake of it on their birthday or something stupid like that. I mean, what we had. Once on relay, it went to Cesc to keep him at the club. That didn't work. For Marlon, Gallas had it one. Gallas first, and then he had a meltdowns, and then Fabregas got it to keep him at the club, and then obviously, Vermaelen, and he got injured all the time. Van Persie to keep him at the club. We went through a stage where it was just used as a token gesture to keep players at a club, and obviously long term it didn't work. And
we even did it with Aubameyang, didn't we?
Yeah.
Aubameyang, yeah. That's what I'm
We
saying.
did it with Aubameyang.
Even after Wenger left, and when Wenger left, I remember watching like Craig on the same old Arsenal podcast and things like that. When Unai Emery was appointed, and it was the main topic was make the armband relevant again, because obviously we've gone through that, as I say, about the phase of just throwing the armband like it's a toy, basically. Just like, there you go, have it if you want to on your birthday. Or happy birthday, there you go, Theo or whoever, just for the sake of it. Oh, it's your anniversary today. Off you go. And even then, he didn't really do it. Then who was the captain? Who did he make captain? Was it Koscielny? Koscielny was our captain, wasn't he? When they took over.
I
can't remember now.
Yeah, Mertesacker and Koscielny, weren't it?
Mertesacker, then Koscielny. And then he had the group of Rob Holding and Granit and this, that, and the other. And he made, in his second season, he made Granit his captain.
Gave Ozil it too, right?
Ozil of his leadership group, yeah. Part of the leadership group.
I mean, there's no leader in Ozil.
It's took for Arteta to come along for us to make the armband relevant but we've got, it's not just making the armband relevant, we've actually got more than one leader in our squad now. Once all this bitching about the armband, we never had leaders. After the Vieiras on Henry's and all that left, we didn't have leaders in our team. You couldn't just Gilberto left side. He was the last proper captain in terms of a leader, and then just got handed about after that, such for a token gesture. We didn't have the. We was in this situation where we didn't have leaders in our squad where we could actually say, well, hang on, why is he not the captain and this, that, and the other? It's just like, well, whatever, just cool. We have to suck it up, basically. Whereas now we're having this discussion of, Odegaard's the captain, but is Declan the captain? Declan should be vice captain. Jesus has got the armband to win this, that, and the other. We've got leaders now. Whereas United, there just isn't that there. As I say, we've been there, we've seen this, we've witnessed this firsthand over the years.
This is what I said though with Declan Rice. Like, you pay 30 million extra for what he does around the club and what his leadership is than you pay anyone else. When everyone's going, oh, you paid over the odds for Declan Rice, 105 million. Naturally, we haven't paid over the odds because this is a guy, as I've always said before, when West Ham Youth won the Youth Cup final at the Emirates last season, who was in the changing room with the youth players? You're captain of your first team at West Ham, Declan Rice. This guy, let's be honest, and this is a bold statement, he's one of the best he's one of the best captains in world football, in my opinion. And he will be the Arsenal captain. And I believe when he gets the captaincy, he will take us to the next level under his captaincy because he's a born winner. He's an absolute born winner. And whether that's with Odegaard in the team, I hope it is. I do think Declan Rice is probably the outright leader of the club, and how that would be managed, I don't know at the moment. If that did happen, so that only time will tell with that. But I think if you said to me, if I put my midfield in there at the moment, I have my three centre midfielders who would be a captain, it'd be Declan Rice all day long. But I think obviously we'll embed him in the club this year and maybe next year, and then I think then he'll get the armband. And I like the way we're doing it, that we're not just naturally giving him the armband now. We're just letting him get on with his football, letting him adapt into the Arsenal team, let him do what he's doing. But I think once he gets that captaincy, and he will get that captaincy in the end, it will take us to the next level. And his leadership alone and what he does for the club, I'd pay an extra 40-50 million premium on that, honestly.
Yeah, I've said it for the last few weeks, absolute bargain. People said we overpaid for him. I think we've underpaid for him in one sense. What he's given us already, and what BX says in the chat, you score against United and Chelsea in your first season, makes you a cult hero automatically. Let him score against Tottenham first before you give him that whole cult hero status, BX. But yeah,
I think he's on his way to that, man.
Yeah,
that position he plays, well is so important, and it's so pivotal to everything that you do on the field. Like I'm obsessed with the defensive midfielding position because it connects the back to the front, and it's just that the linchpin. He makes progressive passing. He tracks back. He's quick to tell people to lay off the ref. Like he already does the business. It's just a matter of. I just wonder about that transition from Odegaard, because Odegaard still strikes me as a captain material. But what I found odd about the Amazon documentary, and maybe you guys can agree with me on this or not, but they didn't feature Odegaard on the Amazon documentary. He was the captain at that time. You figured he would at least been out in the open.
Was, and Lacazette was that season.
But didn't it transition to Odegaard?
At the end of the season, it did, yeah.
Okay, all right.
And the last two games, it did, yeah, because they were testing out the waters by then, yeah.
It was odd that he didn't have a speaking part in that. They didn't interview him. I thought that was really odd. But
yeah,
some people don't like the cameras in the limelight, right? Like he might have said, "No, I don't like this." But we don't know. But I did find it odd.
Yeah, I think I did hear that he found it a bit weird at the Kelsey. I think when he obviously signed first properly. That's when the cameras came in. He found it a bit weird, and he had to adjust to it. Him and the teammates had to adjust and all that. But he did say publicly that adjustment to knowing you're being watched, every nook and cranny at training and on match days as well. So maybe he was one of them. So I'll feature me, but I don't want to do any interviews and things like that. I just want to get on and do my job. But this is the thing. This is my point. Is we're having a discussion. I mean, as you say, I think Odegaard has done nothing wrong as a captain.
No.
I think he's a good leader in that side of things. He leads by example on the pitch. He's in that side of things. But Declan more vocal, and he's got that. But we've not just them two. We've got Saliba that can lead, but he's a good leader. Ramsdale, even though he's a playing leader, we've got multiple players that we can rely on to be. It's going back to the days where we used to win things. We had multiple leaders. These David Seamers, Lee Dixon, Adams, Campbell, Keown, Bold, Dixon, Winterburn, Lauren, that twat that supports Chelsea now. Ray Parler, Gilberto, Edu, Vieira. Well, we had basically one point is we had leaders throughout the entire. It wasn't just one man on his own. It was pretty much the entire squad had built a leadership quality to their abilities, and we'd thrive off it. But yeah. Anyway,
think about that. Think about the dynamic you just said there. Leaders, and you mentioned all the names. That's leaders at different positions too, right?
Yeah.
So it's someone that's a leader in the forward room, right? Someone's a leader in the midfield room. Someone's a leader in the defensive room. Like there's different roles and responsibilities, and that also helps your position coaches that go out there and coach, right? If there's a guy like a Declan Rice, that's an extra voice in the midfield coaching room. There's Saliba. There's it's just we have those guys that helps your youth grow, your youth system. That helps your under 21s, and it's a cultural perception that in actuality that floats itself down to all levels of the club, and it makes you proud to support the club. If you have a captain like a Declan Rice or an Odegaard, so. I mean, Man United, there's not much identity. I mean, they can sit there and we got Beckham, we got, cool, great. The history does matter. Don't get me wrong. Arsenal has plenty of history as well. But they don't, Bruno Fernandes, like, it's just, so, yeah.
Yeah. Sam, sorry, just before we wrap things up, Sam saying in the chat, Odegaard does loads behind the scenes and the lads respect him. On the pitch, he directs play and relays the messages from Arteta. He isn't a loud shouting type, but he talks a lot with his teammates. He does. And I've said that when it comes to the high press, I've been praising him massively because he does. He pretty much does it all on his own. Basically, he leads by example. He's going through a bit of not purple patch, but a sticky patch at the moment. The last few games, but all players do that. De Bruyne's been through that these time as well, back in Man City and things like that. It happens.
We have to remember as well, though, with the midfield, like. There's quite a bit of surgery in that midfield at the moment, isn't there? Like in terms of last year, in terms of Odegaard, he was used to having Partey and a Xhaka for the whole of last season, where now he's obviously playing with new players, isn't he? And it will take time for all them players, obviously, to kind of gel. And it may be affecting Odegaard's game a little bit. That maybe he's not getting the ball in certain areas that he probably wanted, like that he was getting last year.
Yeah, he sort of needs, as I say, I think as I did last week, he needs that. He needs to put the partnership behind him to be the partnership and like consistently playing game in, game out and build a bond, a relationship to work off of. Yeah.
I'll tell you who another leader is, though. And I'll say it like off the pitch. Like, you look at Jorginho, mate, what he does on that sideline sometimes. Like, honestly, he's like Arteta's coach on the corner flag. I love it. Like, some games at the Emirates, I can just watch him. Like, unbelievable.
I don't see it. You see it. So,
mate, honestly. Unbelievable signing that is. If you got an experienced player like that who's willing to do that, mate, and he does it on quite a lot of occasions, and you always notice, like, if there's a celebration near the end, Jorginho's always one of the first there. Because do you know why? Because he's on that corner flag coaching, and Arteta said to him, he gets away with it because obviously he's a substitute.
Relay the message. Get over there now. Get down there quick.
Unbelievable, mate. It can be a game changer at times. It can be a game changer. Like just little things Arteta's probably relaying to him, going down to speak to Martinelli, speaking to Saka.
Yeah, even the week against Chelsea, when Trossard scored the goal, he was one of the first there. He was one of the first there in that corner, as you say. Trossard came over and jumping on him.
Brilliant, absolutely brilliant.
People said our January window was horrible, but Jorginho, 12 million. Look what he adds. Trossard, 25 million. Look what he adds. Yeah. We hit the January window. It didn't end in anything. I can understand that argument. Man, the value. Well, Kivior too. Yeah, I mean, look at the value you talked about, Liam. Like the ability to have a veteran guy, and Elneny brings it too. Don't forget that Elneny brings it too. Jorginho just has done it better than Elneny, but I mean, you guys get to see that at the game. And that's when I go to sporting events, I love to see what the coach is doing. What's the body language between everybody? Because it tells you a story you don't see on TV. Sometimes you see it after the fact, and that's a very good point you brought up, Liam. Like it's you guys are lucky to get to see that stuff, and
it's interesting you say about Elneny as well. Like, absolutely love the player, the personality of him. Like, I've seen it on quite a few occasions, especially on big games after the games that he's out. Like, he's been out of the team for how long? Because he was injured, but he's always at the ground. Do you know what I mean? Like, when they won, he's goading all the players off, cuddling them, and all that kind of stuff. Yeah. And I always remember the Man United game last year. And as Saka comes off, he's just like, "I bloody love you, man. I love you." And mate, how that must make a youngster feel. Do you know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
Like, you can't, like, for me, I was I was quite happy when they give Elneny another year because I know he's not going to play much. And I know if he comes back in, he's going to have bit parts and all that kind of stuff. But do you know what? It's about what he does behind the scenes at times and what he does in the changing rooms during the game, during match day and all that. And I think it's great experience for the lads. And, long may it continue. But I think Arteta's a very clever guy. He knows what he's doing. Do you know what I mean? In terms of that match day, what's going on the pitch, and like what he's got going down with Jorginho and that line down the touchline and all that kind of stuff. And little ingredients like that can win you games without you knowing.
You can win games with goals and assists, but if you want to win titles and championships, you need to have players like that are role players that could come in and help establish that culture, right? I mean, Saka's watched Elneny at the senior level, and to have that and probably emulated him and wanted to be like him, right? I mean, let's be realistic. Those young kids coming up are looking at that first team as that's the goal where I want to be. And when that first teamer comes and puts his arm around you and says, "Hey, man, you did this good, excellent," that has to mean the world to them, So, I mean, it's crazy. And of course, this is outcome analysis, right? We're kind of looking at stuff in the moment. We may have thought a little differently, but it was a good January window if you really want to be honest about it.
It makes me laugh when people say that Arteta can't manage senior players. I totally disagree with that. Do you know what I mean? I totally disagree with that. I thought even David Luiz, he utilised him quite well when he was at the club, didn't he?
He did. And one of them idiots out there that said that was one of our ex-players. It used to be he outed last couple of years back was Aubameyang. There's a video that went around about earlier in the year that leaked out of him sitting in his hotel room with his brothers and all that, and going, "Oh, he doesn't want me there because he can't manage me. He can't manage big players. He only wants kids there." And then since obviously he had that recorded the year prior, he's proven the complete opposite. And then when Aubameyang's then come out, "Oh, what? I said this a year ago. A bit of heat at the moment, a bit of pain, and I didn't really mean it. He's a fantastic." Fuck off. I mean, he's at Marseille now. And look what it. Yeah, he doesn't even put up trees at Marseille for crying out loud, and they're doing well. That's despite him. But yeah, he's in terms of Arteta, what Arteta's doing, as you say, he's proving the point, and I think because of again the goalkeeping situation aside, don't go back down that rabbit. Don't want to go back down that rabbit hole again. But because of how I've always said since that situation with Aubameyang and how he dealt with that in the moment, and he basically stuck to his guns and said, "No, enough's enough. I've lost. I can't trust him. He needs to go now for the good of the squad and the club." Since then, the entire team's just come along with him. Another when we bring these players like Jorginho and whoever else in since then, and Trossard, they've sort of seen that, and even Declan would have seen it and gone, he ain't messing about. He's serious. He wants to win. He doesn't want to be just coasting and getting us in top form, things like that, just for the sake of it. He wants to actually get us back to winning ways and back to winning and competing for league titles year in, year out. And it's got back to this position where it's our second season now so far. I know we're 10 games in. They're 10 games in this time round, but we're competing for a title. We believe as a fan base we can win this title, and it's been a long time since we've gone into a season having that belief. As I said last season, going into last season, it was getting in the Champions League. It wasn't going for a title, but that just took us by surprise. We enjoyed the ride. Painful at the end, yeah, but we've harnessed that as a fan base, and the players do it as well. We've seen it, but we've seen them harness pain before. And I think, as I say, this start of the season it might not be swashbuckling and end-to-end football, but it's more mature. It's biding our time, getting the results still, but not going overboard and conserving ourselves for the main moments come late January, February time when the business end of the season kicks into play. We need the big performances, basically. Aside from that, though, we've been going for nearly 2.5 hours. Bloody hell, sorry, guys. Jesus Christ.
It's probably me and Liam. I think we just do well together. It's a great conversation. I appreciate talking to you, Liam. I do, and you, Ryan, as well. So
yeah, appreciate it. Obviously right back at you as well. But appreciate having you taking time out every day to come on and obviously talk Arsenal with us as well, and same to Liam as well. And Liam has a little fan with Stefan as well. Stefan loves Liam, so I've been, as you saw, Liam, I've been instructed to make you a permanent fixture of this channel when possible, obviously. Oh dear. Ollie's in the chat, says shirt change.
what's she talking about? That's my wife, by the way. I don't know.
Yeah.
What are you talking about?
No idea. I saw that. Before we wrap things up, when Eddie does the super heroics, we get extra long. Yeah, an extra hour you got tonight.
Hey,
Because of Eddie.
It's all because of Eddie and his hat trick, and as I say, it was a game of first. Obviously, Eddie's first hat trick, Fabio Vieira's first Premier League goal, Tommy Ashley's first Arsenal goal. I thought Tommy Ashley scored first before, but apparently his first ever Premier League, his first ever goal for us. So a day off first on Saturday, but we move on now to Wednesday. As I'm giving my score prediction. I think we've got 3-1 Liam, 2-0 Spence. I'm gonna go for. If Bowen plays, they score. So I'm going to go for 3-1 as well. If Bowen doesn't play, then we win 3-0. I think Chris in the chat mentioned he's got a ticket for the game. Was it £10 for his ticket? So he's expecting reserves for West Ham. So that could. Well, as I say, they've got European football as well. So the following, obviously, got big. I think they've got a big game on the midweek and weekend. So and then they've got obviously the Olympiacos at home next week. So that could be time to
tough game
in our hands as well. But yeah, thanks again to everyone in the chat taking part, and familiar faces making a comeback this week as well. It's been a while since I've seen you, Brownie, but good to see you back. And getting back to normality, so we say. Liam and Spencer, again, thanks for popping on and talking all things Arsenal and giving your perspectives and everything that's happened in the last few days, and obviously your thoughts of what's coming forward and all that. Apart from that, again, the audio guys, all the listeners, this will be up in about half hour's time, as I always say, half hour's time once it downloads. Up on Spotify, Google Podcast, Pocket Cast, and all other audio platforms, Apple Podcasts, you name it. It'll be up on there ASAP. So if you have missed any of this, you want to listen to it back on the go, just find whatever your preferences or audio platform, find us over there, follow us, and spread the word on there as well. I will be back on Wednesday night for the Carabao Cup against West Ham. If Liam's feeling up to it, because he's got a long day tomorrow. So if he's feeling up to it, obviously he'll be back on Wednesday with us as well. For the watch along, about half hour before kickoff, as we always do, go live, get the build up and all that jazz. And then we've got that Wednesday, and then Thursday or Friday I'll probably do a Newcastle preview with a couple Newcastle fans if they're available. Might do. I'll let you know on that on Wednesday, or I know more then on that. And then Saturday it's the Newcastle v Arsenal watch along, and then match of the day later on in the day. The reason I didn't do match of the day this week, I just weren't feeling well. So there's only like 4 games. And it was just like, yeah, it was really worth going on for 4 games. We know the results, we did this, that, and the other. So I was just like, yeah. But that will be back next week, and then the girls are back next week as well. Man City v Arsenal v Man City in the WSL on the Saturday as well. 12:30 kickoff. We'll be covering that here on the channel as well. But apart from that, guys, yeah, take care of yourselves. If you are new to the channel, please do subscribe. Do smash the like button and share the content around as well on all your mixed social media platforms. It does help the channel grow that bit faster. Apart from that, as always, take care of yourselves and up the Arsenal. Come on, you Gunners.